Hey, welcome back to another episode of Mind the Mic. I'm here with a great fella. What an awesome bloke that I've been able to connect with. Used to play players trade in the Down Under for the Panthers, the Bulldogs, the Titans. Even played for Tonga Test, I believe, in the Indigenous All Stars, and even a little city game there as well. Hey, Togo, Leilani Latu, what's up, Docs?
What's up, man? Hailing from Liverpool, England.
Liverpool, England. Hey, but used to live near Liverpool, Sydney.
Yeah.
so
and they're not the same place.
Not the same place.
Yeah, those of us hearing from Sydney, the completely different area.
Yeah. Okay. Just talking on that to start with, though, what's the differences between Liverpool, the UK, and Liverpool in Sydney?
Well, Liverpool, Sydney is relatively known for the Oriental background, the Asian background. Liverpool, England, is very famously known for their football club, but other than that, it's the accent, man. If anyone wants to try, oh my goodness.
Yeah, go. Give us your best chicken and a can of Coke, then, brother. Let's go.
All right.
You go.
Yeah, you know that, lad. I'm looking for the corner shop, lad. Where's the best chicken in the can?
Hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, Docs. I like it. Hey, you'll be singing the Beatles soon. Let's go, Docs. That was really good.
Oh my goodness! I thought it was a foreign language when I heard the first person from Liverpool talk to me.
Yeah, crazy. You know what I tripped out at too, being like in the UK, especially like England and that. Like you go from like just like not that far away, and then they sound completely different. Eh? Like like how small the place is.
Yep. There is literally a bridge. There's a bridge from where I live, St. Helens, and it's within 2 kilometers, right? So St. Helens to Witness, and completely different accent, and it spins me out. And the biggest thing the Brits do over here is they say, "You all right?" And "you all right" is like a euphemism for like how are you doing?
Oh yeah.
Are you doing well? Now back home, if we said "you all right," it sort of means like, what's wrong with you? Like, I got a problem with you. So I had everyone. So when I touched down, everyone kept saying to me, "You all right? You all right?" And it really got on my nerves. And I was like, wow. I was like, what's with these British people? Like, why are they asking me these things? And then I had one guy come up to me and go, "Hey, cock, you all right?" I said, "What did you say?"
So what does that mean, brother? Hey, cock, you all right?
He goes, "Oh, hey, bro, what's up?"
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I had my manager at the time for Warrington Wolves, Kylie Lulaway. Very well known fellow in the rugby
league. Great player too. Kylie.
Yep. He looked after me, and he was actually there when the first person said that to me, and then he started laughing hard out as well. And he's like, "Oh man, they don't mean anything by it. They're just saying like, how are you?"
Oh, you know what I noticed too? Docs, about the UK. The boys, they might are good. Like they go good on the banter too. Eh? The boys, they over there, they go pretty good on the banter.
Mate, they're just as bad as us. Just as bad as us. And they know how to give it as well. So it's all well and good. I've been in England for 4 years now.
4 years.
Love it.
Liverpool the whole time, or
Liverpool the whole time.
Oh, there you go. So obviously we'll get into.
Hopefully I still sound the same. But every
Yeah,
time
no, no.
every time I talk to my mates back home, they're like, "Oh, you sound a little bit different each time." So yeah,
Well, there
trying to
wouldn't be
stay true.
too many chaps probably from where you're from. They live, they live with you or anything, or like you can talk to every day around you, probably. Eh?
Mm. There's still a few boys. There's a few boys that play with St. Helens,
Mm.
that are from my area that I've played with. So yeah, it's been really good. I've really enjoyed it over here.
Yeah, that's solid, my brother. So before we get into obviously go back to the young days, what are you doing now, brother, at the moment over there?
So I'm actually working in occupational health at the minute. Sounds like,
Okay.
oh wow, like, so occupational health. I I literally go around to different sectors of business,
Mm-hmm.
and I check employees to see if they're fit to do their work. So I check their hearing, I check their breathing, I check their bloods. I do all
Yeah.
these type of things. It's just it was just a completely different thing that I've never ever imagined doing in my life. But I'm someone that loves to have a chat, that loves to get to know someone, and when you work in occupational health, every day is a different day. It's never the same day. So
That's
that's something, yeah. Learning about the anatomy, learning about doing bloods for someone, those sort of things. I hated blood. Never ever, never ever liked doing any blood, having blood tests or anything like that. Every time I saw a needle, I fainted. It
true.
was, yeah. So to be able to do that, to be able to do something like that, yeah, it's really interesting.
That's pretty hectic, especially because you had quite a few injuries too, eh? Especially when you're younger as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. So
far
really
out. So
enjoyed
how
it.
long have you been in that job for, brother? Since you retired, or
No, I was a PE teacher. As soon as I retired, became a teacher. Fell back on what I was studying back home, and that sort of, I thought, would have been the be all end all type of thing for me. And
yeah,
there's only so much patience I had before I could have literally, have you ever watched Kindergarten Cop?
yes, I have. Yeah, yeah. Arnold
Yeah, yeah,
Schwarzenegger,
yeah,
is it?
yeah, bro. So it was like that. I could have easily killed killed a little kid, because today these kids, they've like got no fear. They'll literally just backmouth you, just keep talking to you, keep talking to you. And bro, my kids didn't deserve a father with no patience at all when I come home. So it was
Yeah.
like, oh man, I'm not enjoying this. So yeah, when it's occupational health, it was still had to do with the body, still had to do with uh, learning. It took a while to sort of grasp what I was learning, what I was doing. But all in all, I love a challenge. I love doing something that I'm not used to or that I've never done before. I like those sort of challenges. Um, but it's sort of the foundation that I've built in rugby league. You know,
Yeah.
when the
Beautiful.
trainer when the trainer pushes you to do something and you don't want
Mm-hmm.
to do it, but you know you have to do it. That's sort of the same thing when you come into a new line of work and something you can't seem to grasp at the start, but over time you master it. Over time you learn it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's sort of that. But I've enjoyed it, man. It's been really good.
Yeah. Beautiful, brother. Thank you for sharing that part because I think, as I said to you, off air, a lot of people I think forget that you players, who are, reach certain heights and able to play professionally and make a living from it. I think a lot of people forget you're a human being. So it's cool to,
Yeah,
hear that side of things, brother, the after
yeah,
football and what you've been up to and the fact that you gave it a go, obviously you had
mm,
planned to give that, teaching or whatever a go and didn't work out.
mm,
Well, not at this and but you found something else that
yeah,
you're enjoying too,
yeah,
brother. So good on you.
yeah.
Um, Can you take us back to a younger? Sorry, because you're still young, Kazi. But a younger Leilani Latu, brother. Born in Sydney, all of that stuff. Tell us about that. What growing up was like. Where you grew up. All that stuff.
Sure. So for the longest time that I can remember, as a child, I was the youngest of four. It went my sister, my brother, another sister, and then me. From the youngest time where I could remember, we used to live in a homeless shelter, and it was just me and my mum. It was just my mum and my siblings, and we used to bounce around homeless shelters in Sydney, and that for me sort of I is like forever implanted in my mind about watching my mum have to balance work with feeding us four. My dad at the time was working in Adelaide as a pastry chef, and he was just sending money back. But in that time, my mum did all that she could, and we actually moved in to my grandmother's house in Stratfield.
This is your mother's mum?
This is my mother's mum. And
so how many siblings, brother? You said you and your siblings. How many of you?
3. So I've got a sister, a brother, another sister, and then me. So 4 of us. Yeah,
4 of you. So you all lived in the homeless shelters, going around as young.
Yeah, and so the last shelter I can remember, to put it into perspective, it was like a 3x3 room, and it was like just 2 bunk beds and a bathroom. That was it. And
you all slept in there.
I had to sleep with my mum every day, and then my siblings had their own bed. But the fondest memory that I have whilst living there in the shelter was every Friday, and I'm talking to the older viewers here. We used to always go to Blockbuster. We always used to go to Video Easy, and we always used to.
What's that?
Bro. All the younger viewers were like, "The heck's that, Blockbuster?" We used to always rent the old WWF wrestling videos.
Oh yes, yeah.
And we used to me and my siblings used to just watch it in this public viewing place in the shelter.
Oh yeah. And bro, how good was that? Those sorry brother. Just the video days. How good was that? Cool was that as a kid? Going to get your things and that was so fun, brother. I remember those days too.
Just tape on the VCR, but then because you had no blank tapes, you used to tape over your mum's recording of Melrose Place.
Or the wedding. No. It's it, docs. Bro, I just remember so nostalgia. I think about it now because I got 3 kids too, brother, and I think they'll never get the experience going to the going to the video shop or whatever, the Blockbuster, Video Easy, and getting your trying to get a weekly and hoping that mum might get you what do they call it, those overnight ones, those new releases.
Yeah, or you see a game that you want, but then all your hopes go crashing when you go there on the night and it's already gone. Someone's already did.
or there's a kid in line with it in his hand. He's the last one. This guy. Beautiful time. So you would watch it in a communal or in a place where everybody would watch movies.
Yeah, and then my mum. So my mum, we all understood. My 3 older siblings more so understood how much we were struggling. But my mum actually worked that hard that she got to take us to the Easter show.
The Easter show.
Yeah, bro. And there's this game that it's like a monkey toss game, and you've got to like push down this lever, and it catapults this handball into like this little hoop, and it keeps propelling these monkeys up this pole. And the funny thing about it was, like, these monkeys were dressed as like jockeys on horses. It was so funny, man. If there's someone out there that knows what I'm talking about, get bro.
I'm trying to picture it anyway. Carry
yeah,
on.
yeah. Anyway,
So,
it was like it was this game where, like, just me and my siblings, we were like guns at it. We couldn't be beaten. Once we got on there, we always won. And this night in particular, I don't know why, but it just kept falling. It kept raining. We were like just Steph Curry hitting threes every single
yeah,
time.
the chef.
And we all walked out of that place with all these like big oversized teddies, everything.
Yes.
And there's like this one photo that I keep of us at the bus stop, and we're going back to the shelter, and it's just us. It's just us with all of our teddies, all of our show bags, and that sort of just encapsulates like the best time that I ever had as a
Oh,
youngin. Like, it sort of serves as a humble pie every time I look at it and just sort of reflect on where I've been to where I am now. And, you know, as every parent does, like, we try and say, like, we want our kids to have the things that we didn't have when we were
yeah.
younger. So it's sort of like that, trying to emulate that with my own kids. You never want
Yeah.
to have your kids have to repeat anything you went through as a young
Nah,
man. So
that's it, eh, brother. Break
but
cycles and stuff.
yeah, man. It's but from that, like, yeah, I went to my grandmother's house, and you know, for a period there, that's where I started playing rugby league.
Yeah. How old are you now
I
at this stage?
So I'm 31 now.
No. Now at this
Oh,
grandmother period. Sorry.
so in this period, I'm about 5, yeah, 4 turning 5. Yeah. So yeah, 4, 5.
425.
Nah, about 6 turning 7. But there's
Were
just
you in like the
little.
West Tigers comp? Was it?
Yeah, yeah. So I was playing for Leichhardt Juniors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and funny enough, I was playing with Aaron Woods. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, to put it into perspective, we got you got that stereotype about Islanders being bigger than usual. So I was like always having to play 2 years up
Oh okay.
just to fit in with everyone, because I just towered my own age group, the next age group above me. And then when I started playing, I was playing with Aaron Woods. And
Okay,
Aaron
so
Woods,
he's 2 years older than you.
yeah, and that's sort of how my journey started going. I hit a few bumps along the road there. When I was 8 years old, I I was abused by my grandmother's husband. So
Oh, sorry to hear,
so that
brother.
yeah,
I
so
went through
that
some similar shit too. So
yeah,
sorry to hear,
yeah.
brother.
So
But yeah.
that just sort of played on my mind in primary school.
Oh
And it
yeah.
was this every second day I had to go to a therapist. I had to replay the whole thing in my mind, and it sort of just built this. It was almost like a little person in the back of my head. Every time there was a bad thing that happened in my family, or something that happened at school, something that happened on the footy pitch. It was like this little person would like remind me, like, hey, this is what happened. Remember this?
You know when you talk about that and like when that was going on for you, I don't know for you, but for me, brother, just not trying to like compare or something, but for me, I always felt like when I was younger, I was like, bro, does that make me gay? Like, not that there's anything wrong with like if you are or whatever, that's your choice. But I'm just saying in my head, like I never like had any things for men or anything, but because that stuff happened to me, I used to think that in my head, like far, like oh, like am I a bad person? I don't know. Did you have any of those thoughts at all, Toko?
No, I in my mind I was like, you know, like why did this happen to me? That's where I came from. And
okay.
I think the hardest part about it was, you know, my grandmother at the time didn't believe me. So that was the biggest thing.
Oh,
And
bro,
then
at least
even
good on you for talking though, Docs.
Yeah,
Good on you for talking though.
Even my dad didn't believe me.
Wow, that's the worst too. Being when you're a victim, like
and
like I didn't come out about mine till I was older, till I was an adult. But like you know, good on you for being strong enough to talk about it at the time, bro.
It was
like
it was a big thing. I remember I still remember the whole thing happening, and I remember even going to the police that night and so forth after that. But I mean, playing rugby league was sort of the release. It helped me release all that built up anger, all that built up frustration. Once I crossed the white line, it was legal for me to literally just hurt anyone. And for a while there, it was my release. Every single time I went to training, every single time I was playing, I got to play over the weekend. It was my time to just release all that built up frustration, release all that built up anger. And my brother at the time was actually serving as the man in my life.
Yeah, because your father was away.
My father was away in Adelaide, and I got to watch him play. He played in like your Jersey flag now. Nowadays, he played Jersey flag for well, they called it Balmain Tigers back then.
Yeah,
before they connected with West Magpies. But he was a halfback as well, and on top of that, he'd play rugby union as a fly half for Parramatta 2 Blues, and 2 Blues is like a really big rugby club back home in around Granville way. So it was just watching him, trying to emulate what he did. You know, he was just sort of feeding me and letting me see rugby league from a different perspective, not just from a forward mentality. It was like, no, look around you, look what else you can do other than just truck a ball up and get tackled and play the ball. It was, but also because of that, you know, my brother, I actually remember watching my brother get given this massive parcel of contracts. And when I talk about contracts, man, he had this bundle of contracts from rugby union and rugby league, all these clubs wanting to sign him.
Oh,
bro, he could have
was a gun there.
gone. He was a gunman. He could have been like a type of like Scotty Prince, Benji Marshall. He was a good player.
Oh yeah,
he was a really good player for
like
Tigers.
Like a Quake Cooper, maybe if he went to
rugby.
Yeah,
he played. Yeah, he played fullback. He played fly half for in rugby union. But I watched my brother, you know, sort of crash because he went down the road of taking a lot of drugs.
So many stories
then-
like that, brother? Like
Bro.
of people that all the talent in the world, ability and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. But then drugs just sort of robs them of everything. And I that's when I moved from Balmain, from the Balmain comp, the Tigers comp, to Canterbury when I was about a little 10, 11. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, double two,
And-
double O, brother.
Yeah. And I played for St. John's Eagles. And they're based at Punch Bowl Park in Bankstown. Around Punch Bowl, Bankstown area. But
Yeah.
and that was it, man. I remember I played a team called Baralla Bears.
Yep.
And anyone that knows Baralla Bears, they're all Islanders.
Mhm.
You find like all Islanders, you find maybe the 2 or 3 random Lebanese kids,
Yep.
and then there's always the one random Aussie
Yeah, the
white
Aussie.
boy in there. But he's
Yeah,
always
the Aussie.
he's always like the biggest one. So
Yeah.
like when I remember I played my first game, and in my mind, when I saw Barella, I was like, oh, finally, some people my size.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it, man. I was like, literally like, oh, yeah. I love the Canterbury comp. The Canterbury comp used to be the Canterbury comp, man. I loved every week of like versing, Chester Hill, Bankstown Sports, Barella Bears, all these big teams that you just knew there were quality there, players, and that's what made our team. When I got to play for the Bulldogs,
Yeah.
it made our team even better because when we all came together,
Mm-hmm.
dare I say, right? I'll put it out there, and for someone that can fact check it for me, we might still be the only team that's gone through undefeated in Harold Mats.
Oh, true.
If there's been another team that's done it, then so be it. But
back then at the time you were the only one from your knowledge.
Bulldogs, our Harold Mats Bulldogs team.
Who was in that team? Any of the other boys kick
16.
on?
Yeah, David Clemmer was in that team.
Oh yeah. Was he angry back then too?
Yeah.
Let's get a Clem.
Yeah. Still, but he was
Beast.
a mammoth for where did he go? Westfield Sport High. Yeah. Trying to go for the team now. There was a few boys there. Yeah.
So what year is this, Leilani? What year is this, brother?
2008. Yeah.
2008.
2009. Yeah, 2008, 2009. We went through undefeated. I think we've got a couple of boys there. Wafu. Yeah, there was a lot of boys there that sort of played a handful of first grade games for a lot of clubs.
Oh yeah, solid.
But overall, I think there was about in that Howard Mats team, we went through undefeated.
Yep.
We won the comp. Our SG ball team won the comp as well. So we dominated both grades that year. And then the last year of my SG ball team, we had a monster of a team. So we had maybe about 6 or 7 first graders in my SG ball team.
Like who?
Yeah. So we had there was Brendan Santee. He played a good amount of games for the Tigers. Debuted for Italy. He's played for Italy for like about 2 or 3 World Cups. David Clemmer, David Minnett used to play with St. George, and St. George and played at the Bulldogs as well. Moses Mbai was there.
Oh, true. Moses.
Yeah.
Yep.
Moses Mbai was there. Myself.
What position did Moses play as a young fella?
Moses played hooker. He
Oh,
played
okay.
hooker. He played half as well. He played in the halves for quite a bit, and then our coach put him at hooker, and then saw him as a really good dummy half. Was able to get out, and he still does that over here for St.
Mm,
Helens.
yeah.
So
Nice. Some
yeah,
killers, all right, brother. Some
but we
some
had
killers in there.
yeah.
And Leilani Latu, you forgot to mention him. No, no. He looks.
Bro, and man, that like, and this is what I mean. So like in this period, all right, this period of 17, 18 years old, it's a
Yeah.
really important period for a lot of teenagers, especially someone who wants to aspire to become a
Hmm.
rugby league player. You start learning, well, is rugby league the be all end all? Is it something that I want to try and go for, or is it just a hobby that I'll just pursue on the weekends only? And lucky enough for me, I had my manager at the time uh, approach me when I was 15, turning 16, and he signed me, and I stayed with him for my whole rugby league career.
Oh, true. Shout out to
Yeah,
the bro.
yeah, man. Sam, it was Sam Ayu, but I went to
Nice.
school with his son. Um, so there was he looked after me for my whole career.
Yeah.
So
But it, like,
I'm very thankful for that.
what kind of like for kids that don't know, or even anybody
Yeah.
that don't know, what is it like? Like, what kind of things do they handle for you? The managers in it.
So these managers handle all the technical things, all the technical terms. They think outside the box of, you know, private healthcare, medicals,
Hmm.
um, boots. Maybe you aspire to go and study, tertiary tertiary funding. Uh, play like if you play a certain amount of games, bonuses. If it looks like, you know, you may not debut this year, but if you do, then you get bonuses throughout each round for X amount of rounds, right? Managers do that. Obviously, though, if you're someone who would like to do your deals yourself, you
Hmm.
know, there's a lot of great players, ex players especially, um, and I know a few of them that will actually help players do that themselves. Because all in all, you know, obviously, if you're depending on how good your agent is, your agent has management fees,
Hmm.
and you not realizing, you know, it's a fair chunk of the sum. If you're someone on big amounts of money, your agent's going to get a little piece of the pie each month out of it. But if you're
Hmm.
someone who actually learns how to do your deals yourself, well, obviously you get it all. You get it
Yeah.
all back to you. But
But then it's
yeah,
time as well, eh?
exactly.
Like
You've
how
got to
much time
invest
do you
time.
want to put into it? Hmm.
Exactly.
100.
You want to
What
invest
about a
time.
kid that's what about a kid that's looking for an agent, or like a maybe a family that's trying to, like, how would you, well, obviously you would say Sam's a good one, but how you personally, what would you say would be key pointers for them to look for a good agent?
I I I would do word of mouth. I would do my research and look and have a look. I would definitely, if I know players
Hmm.
that are good, and you know they might be in a system already. Okay, I would definitely ask their parents. If I know the parents, or if I don't know, even if I don't know them, I'd reach out to them and go, "Hey, are you with an agent? Do you recommend it? Do you recommend them?" Because
Mm.
that's it's just word of mouth, and it's trying to do your research. It's trying to think, well, okay, if I don't know how to look for an agent, then who are the players that I know play, and do I know their parents?
Yes.
I would try and contact parents and go, well, look, sorry to be a random, but this is the deal from my end. Do you recommend what? Do you recommend the agent that you're with? It's just one of those things, really. But in saying that, I know a lot of good agents out there that they're young, and when I mean young, they're like relatively new at being an agent. Sometimes a youngin starting out,
Yep.
maybe they might need that, because if you're the agent's first type of player, then all their focus is on you, getting you as great a deal, as much benefits as possible. However, if
Yes.
you're someone that is sort of already experienced, you need, and depending on situations and variables, and you need a really good manager that is sort of like a shark in the water,
Okay.
then you need a really good manager that knows
Mm.
how to tighten the grip on clubs and go, you need to give my player this, this, and this, and this.
Like the bro Sam, me. Shout out to the bro Sam.
Oh yeah,
Eh?
shout out to Sam Ayub, man.
That's it, though.
Bro,
So
bro helped
you
me on so many occasions.
thank you for that, though, brother. Thank you for, like, hopefully some parents or whoever's trying to find one can navigate that space a lot easier.
Oh
Thanks
yeah.
to some of those words in your tips. The 2000 and is it 2000 and what's the stage now? You've gone for Ishi ball. Are you're in the 20s? What's the go, brother? How does it all
2000,
work?
some 2000, 2010, 2011, 2011. I'm 18, and the next step above that is Toyota Cup.
Yeah.
And for many people who don't know what Toyota Cup is, Toyota Cup was a competition that was for the under 20s, and basically it was, if you're good enough, you're an 18-year-old to 20 years old. If you were in that period and you were really good, then you got to play on TV before the NRL game, either on a Saturday, or there was one game on Saturday, two games on Sunday, if I remember correctly. And if you got to play in either of them and you were still
Mhm.
going to school, bro, that was like the pinnacle in a young kid's eyes, man. Bro, I'm getting
Yeah.
paid. I'm getting paid to train every day after school, and then on top of that, I get to play on TV. Oh yeah, bro.
Oh
And
yeah. Oh
bro,
yeah.
that was like the best thing ever. And at the
Do you
time,
think they
bro,
should bring it back, though?
I mean, for I look at the things that it did off the field, because what they did off the field is they made every guy in that bracket. They said, you will not play under 20s unless you are either studying, or you're going to school, you're studying to
Mhm.
do something, or you're plying your trade in something.
Mhm.
And the lesson behind it was that at any given moment, your career could be over.
Mm.
What do you have to fall? What do you have to fall back on if that ever happens? That was the lesson that they were trying to get ingrained into every single player, every single camp that we did before after the preseason. It was all about, how do we talk to the cameras? You can't trust, type like little keyboard warriors. Um, uh, how do you deal with a career-ending injury? These camps were like really really good when I was 18 years old. Um,
And who were you with, brother, at the time?
I was with Bulldogs. I stayed with the
Bulldogs.
Bulldogs all the way and up until I signed with Penrith. And
But you had a few injuries too, though, eh, Docs? Like through that
yeah,
period.
yeah. I So when I was 18, that was like the big year where I sort of started going on this little trajectory.
Yep.
And got to captain the Bulldogs. We lost by 1 point to Newcastle. Yeah, great game, by the way. So just just to explain it, Kurt Mann,
Mm-hmm.
that plays for the Bulldogs now, was the
Mm-hmm.
5'8" for Newcastle. Newcastle were up by 4 points. Kurt Mann decides to kick the ball on the 80th minute behind him to try and get the ball to like kick the ball out. And the ball just didn't want to bounce the way he hoped it would. And Brendan Santi, right,
The Italian representative.
the Italian rep, he chases the ball and he scores, ties it all up for us on the 80th minute. And our goal kicker, so he was our goal kicker was Semisoni Langi. So he played first grade for Roosters for quite some time, and then plied his trade over here.
Catalans, was it?
Yeah, for
Oh.
Catalans. Yeah.
Mm.
And so he missed the kick, and then about 5 minutes into the extra time, Newcastle centre just comes out of nowhere. Bro sets himself on the 45 meter line and just slots
Boom.
it. Just slots it from 45 out. I was like, oh my god.
Who was that guy? Did he end up playing first grade? Oh,
He had he had a Greek name.
yeah.
But he did. I have seen him. I have seen him.
Oh,
I have seen him
okay.
play for Newcastle first grade.
Oh, yeah.
I know he has played first grade for Newcastle.
All right.
But
Oh, shout out to the
bro,
break.
that was man. I from in that year, I got to debut that. I got to play in that. I debuted in the under-20s. Me and Clemmer got to debut in the under-20s together.
Two
And
behemoths, eh?
yeah, bro. They literally as soon as we finished that competition, the SG Ball comp, the Bulldogs rang us and said, "Oh, you two are coming up." So I said, "Sweet." And then they literally got us ready to play Origin together for the Blues.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got to play in the schoolboy comp, and I was playing with the Catholic boys.
Yep.
And Clemmer was playing in the public, in the CHS, is what they call it, the combined high schools for New South Wales. And yeah, it was like we played against each other in that. We both made Australia, and then from that point where we made Australia, all that we were doing was playing under-20s together. And then that's when I did my first injury.
And what was that?
So I broke a bone in my left foot, and when and so this is where it sort of like gets a little bit rocky, because when I got told that I was going to miss out on the Australian tour and that it was serious, I sort of like got massive FOMO, just the fear of missing out. I hated it. I hated missing out, and I even I couldn't bear missing out to the point that like I just tried to end it. That's how weak my mindset
true, brother.
was. Yeah, my mindset at the time was like I can't bear to deal with all of this. So
what'd you do,
literally, like,
brother? What route did you take to try?
well, I took my painkillers that were like 1,000 milligram Oxycontins and took a whole sheet of them with like and downed it with like Southern Comfort. Bro, and I think I woke up a day just after a whole day and a bit, and like my mum was like standing over me, like crying, and like there was like a pool of like just this white substance over my mouth.
Oh,
Yeah,
what do you think? Did you die, docs, or what?
I don't know. Don't know. I was in a deep sleep for I don't know what happened, but she I just said, "What's wrong?" And she said, "You weren't moving. You didn't move for a whole day, and like we didn't know what was what was happening, and like yeah, it was just like a rocky thing because around this time though, you know, my father came back into my life
Okay.
from Adelaide,
Like
and
just before you had done this?
no, he came back in the period of like while I was still a child, growing into my
Okay.
teens, and
Yeah.
but like because I had watched my brother take drugs, that's when I started dabbling, and
Mm-hmm.
I ended up like um, you know experiencing taking it, and I didn't understand the risk of what I was doing until like me and my cousin we went to we went to this house party, and my cousin was like, "Oh, bro, I got a connection," and bro, it's so funny as well because his friend was like the church drummer, a church drummer, and bro, the dude, so he calls his mate up, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just practicing, I'm just doing band practice," and I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, just meet me at the back. Just meet me at the back of the hall." I was like, "Oh my gosh."
I just gonna grab my stuff out of the drums.
Oh my god!
Oh.
So we literally get there. We're about 2 streets from him, because the house party was next to where this hall was, and we walked up to the hall, and he goes, "Look, here's the number. Ring this dude, and you know he'll get you what you want." So when we rang the dude, we met him next to this next to this BMW car dealership on Canterbury Road, and um, I remember we ducked down on the window, and he had a gun pointed at us,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the moment where I was like, "What am I doing here? This is so stupid." And he was like, "I know who you are. I know who you are. And if you get caught, like if you snitch, that's it.
Yeah.
Like your lives are done." So I was like, "Man, I'm done with this." And so that was like a really big turning point in my life of like, man, I don't want to get caught up with the wrong people
Oh
in
yeah.
this. So I ended up, and that was the same year where, you know, the Bulldogs ended up talking to me saying like, you know, because I did my ankle, and then when I came back the next year when I was 19, even 20, I had like ruined my right knee. Then I tore my right shoulder, and they were like, "Lani, you're getting too injury prone. We're gonna have to let you go." And
Oh, true.
my mindset
That's right.
was on like, look, I love you guys like to death. I love the Bulldogs,
Like,
and I'm
like you're a
willing.
Bulldogs fan, cuz like still
Yeah, I was a Bulldogs fan. I had my mindset.
doggies.
I had my mindset on just being a one club player my whole life. I love the Bulldogs, and
Did
when
you
they
love them
told me,
even before you ended up in that comp, or you already a Bulldogs fan as well? Or
nah, bro, I was a Warriors fan.
up the wilds, baby. That's it. Okay, no further right here for life, cuzzy.
Yeah,
Anyway,
bro.
carry on.
Oh
Okay,
man,
Warriors fan too, Docs. Growing up in Sydney, I like that, Docs.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, the Warriors.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Um, and when they told me, oh look, we're gonna have to let you go, then reality sort of hit me, and I was like, wow, like I may never ever get to play rugby league again.
Yeah. So what
Uh,
happens then, Docs? What
bro,
happens then?
Phil, Phil,
Gus.
it was only a small window, but Phil Gould rang me, and Phil was the supremo at Penrith, and he was like, look, I want you to come to Penrith. I want you to get yourself right, get your body right, and I I truly think that you've still got enough time in those legs to make something of yourself with us at Penrith.
He believes in you,
And
eh? Oh,
bro,
Gus.
and the day that he took me around was the same day that he brought Tyrone Peachy.
Oh, so
And
because you're Torres Strait, eh,
Peach,
brother? Another indigenous
yeah.
brother.
But Peach was like already on fire for Cronulla. Like when they brought Peachy onto the scene, Peach was like already running rings around first grade.
True.
Yeah, when he debuted with Cronulla. And so when I got to meet Peach, I was like, oh, that's Tyrone Peachy.
Yeah, the
And
Tyrone Peachy.
yeah, man. And we walked.
What's David to him? Is that his uncle or something? Cousin?
Yeah, his
Bro,
uncle.
David was gunny.
I know, man. He I this sort of sets in now because Phil Gould took us to Penrith's academy, their big academy that they've got now, right? He took us onto it when it was just getting built.
Oh,
It
true.
was when it was just dirt and rubble, and he's like,
wow.
That's going to be this. This is going to be that. That's going to be that, and like, yeah, I remember looking at it, going, wow, like, okay.
Far out, brother.
Yeah, man. And
what's Gus like? What's Gus like, Docs?
just cool, calm, and collected, full of wisdom.
Yeah, a bit.
Full of wisdom, man. Ask him anything, or about anyone, and he knows them, or he knows someone that knows them. But he's always invested. He always values that time when he's got someone in front of him. When you meet people where like you can talk to them, but you can sort of see like their mind is elsewhere. Whilst I'm talking to them, their mind is elsewhere. They're not actually engaged. They're not actually invested in what I'm saying or what's pertaining now in this present moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Phil Gould is all about like that time, that present moment, and he cares for the individual.
Hey, I just want to say too, Togo, just in case you thought I wasn't engaged, I got like 4 screens and your face is on all of them, so I'm just making sure everything's all good. so I'm fully engaged, my docs. But yeah, no, that's interesting. Did Gus ever play a role in, like, say, did he teach you anything like about the game that you didn't know or understand, anything like that? I know he wasn't your coach
man,
or anything.
It was every time we did video, we had Ivan Cleary. So I was there with Ivan Cleary. When we had Ivan, when we had Ivan there, Phil Gould was in the meeting as well.
Oh, okay.
And every time something came up, every time a video came up, Ivan would talk, a couple of us players would talk, and then Phil Gould goes, "Yeah, but it didn't actually start there. That play the ball, it didn't start there." He goes, rewind it back a couple of seconds. He goes, "Look at this here," or he's like, "Look how Jamal Idris used his feet, and he went from the left shoulder to the right shoulder, and he caused him to stutter and move. And then the next play of the ball, we attacked the marker, and it was the same guy. So look, now he's tired now, and look now the next play, he needs to be the A defender on the left side, but he's not because he's too tired now. So now you've caused that overlap, which has caused the break, which has caused us to go 40 meters marching down. And now when we attack him again, he's out cold. He's tired.
So we've got chessboard, eh, brother?
Right,
he's got their chessboard out.
Just that he just used to go like that, just piece things together and look ahead, look at the cause and the effect, and then be able to orate it, speak it. so that for us dummies, right, when we couldn't see it, he would be like, no, it's there, look how it started, look how it all folded out because of one player's laziness. So when you got someone like that, literally stripping it back to its simplest form, it makes the players go, right, I understand that, and we can exploit that time and time again, right? So that's feel good. Where
like a savant, a savant,
mate,
when it comes to rugby league savant.
you can just strip something all the way down to the smallest of actions, or and you can go have a look at that, watch that, learn the movement, learn that, and that'll make you a better football player.
Yeah. This is good, brother. That's cool. So how long from when they sign you to you make your debut on the in the big leagues?
It took, I signed there when I was 21, debuted at 23. So it took me 21, 22, about 2.5 years it took me. And then I got to play the last 8 games of that when was that?
2015, was it? 2015?
Yeah. And
so you playing cup at the time, were you? Were you playing cup
New
at the
South
time?
Wales Cup under Garth Brennan. We the year before we won it. We won the comp, New South Wales Cup team. Our team was like proper stacked to high heaven on NRL talent. We had dare I say, the Fijian backline.
Yeah.
And we had so we had Eto Nabuli.
Oh, like Nabuli,
This big 7-foot Fijian freshie. Could not speak a word of English. So
played for the Reds was he play Dragons or the Reds?
Yeah, he played. I don't know if he actually debuted with Penrith. He may have, maybe not. But he debuted at Dragons. Yeah, played for the Dragons, and then he went over to rugby. But had him. Then we had on the other side we had this little brother called Sakio Debethi, and he was the only guy that could go toe to toe with James Roberts when we had James Roberts.
Oh, like for pace.
Penrith, for pace. James Roberts.
Jimmy the Jet.
James Roberts 9 times out of 10 would like put it over him, but when Sakio wanted to go with him, he wanted to like finally pull his finger out, then he was really good. And then on the inside of them was the Nguama brothers. We had Wes and Kevin.
Oh, Wes and quit. Oh, true.
Yeah,
Wes and Kevin. And then Wes be older by then, eh?
Yeah, but he was still good. He was our goal kicker. He was our goal kicker. That bro, we and then in the under-20s you had Wanga Blake and Dallin. You had Wanga Blake. You had Dallin. Watini's a legend.
You're the Dallin.
And who was our back row? We had Nathan Smith, so he was a veteran for Penrith. And then on the other side, Isaiah Yeo. But then like halfway through that season, bro, Ben Murdoch-Masila decides to like just show up at our training and goes, my manager told me I signed with Penrith, so I was like, all right, sweet, bro, we'll take you.
Far out, eh? Daily team, cuz.
Bro, it was like, and then we had Campbell Gillard. We had Campbell Gillard. Kevin Kingston was our hooker.
Yeah, hooker.
Sam Anderson. Sam Anderson. He debuted with Penrith. Played for Penrith.
Crazy, brother.
Newcastle. And who was our lock? Anthony Cherrington.
Oh, because a lot of people say he was one of the most talented when he was young, buck, eh? He was one of the most talented too, eh?
and
Apparently
he
he's
still
got
was there.
injuries as well.
He was just riddled with his
Injuries.
with his ACLs in both knees.
Yeah.
But,
Fuck.
bro, we had a monster of a team, and then and who was and then our coach Garth Brennan, he just kept bleeding in all these under-20s boys over and over again, just sort of getting their heads wrapped around, like, if you can mix it with the older boys and be comfortable with it, as soon as you go back to 20s, you're just going to think, oh, like, this is too easy for me, and dominate.
Do you
It was
think
really
that?
good.
Do you think that period and under in the New South Wales Cup prepared you, like, you know, you got your body ready, obviously, but really prepared you to play top flight when you actually got
Yeah,
to run in the
yeah,
big leagues? Because
yeah, definitely. It's a if you're going to play in New South Wales Cup and in Queensland Cup, you're looking at a level of standard that you can easily anticipate that the NRL is going to be exactly like this, if not just a tad faster.
oh, that's the only difference for you, was
That's
that
the
it
only
just a bit
difference.
faster?
The physicality is all there. The physicality is the exact same. The only thing that you've got to get your head wrapped around when you play NRL is the pace.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's like you go hard out for like 2 or 3 sets in the NRL, and the scrum packs down, and you're like, oh yeah, it's been about 10 minutes, and you look up and it's been only 2.5 minutes.
oh no.
and you've already emptied the tank, and you're on your second lifeline of breath coming back to you. Right. That's adjusting.
What was their debut like, brother? What was your debut like? You remember it?
It was funny. It was funny because I remember Ivan Cleary just being really calm and cool, and everyone had told me that week that I was debuting, except Ivan.
Oh, true.
Yeah, they're like, oh, like, Lani, get ready because you're going to play this week, and I'm like, well, no, I'm not, because Ivan's not ringing. Ivan's not told me. Like, but I'm here at training, and he's just walking past me like there's nothing there. I'm like walking past with my plate of food, like, oh, do you want to talk to me?
Talk to me, please. Talk to me.
Yeah. And like, he's just not giving me any eye contact. So I was like,
oh, true.
I was like, oh, maybe the boys like stitching me up. So like,
so how do you find out, Docs?
Right, he just randomly rings me. While I'm at home, and he's like, Lani, you're playing this week. I said, okay, thank you. I was like, he goes, is that it? Like, are you not excited? I said, well, I am. I was like, but I just thought, like, I told him the whole thing, like, the boys had been telling me, but like, I told him, and he like started laughing. I was like, the boys had been telling me, but I didn't know if it was a stitch up or not. And
yeah,
and you being you, like, you were just like giving me nothing at training. So I was like, oh no, maybe they're just lying to me. And he goes, no, you're gonna debut this week. And then I had the Friday off, and then Saturday was captain's run. And then he brought me in. He took me into his office that Saturday, and he said, so your goal this week. So this week we'll play in the Rabbitohs. And the year before, they just won the comp. So their team was like stacked.
The Burgess brothers, eh? The Burgess brothers, Greg Inglis.
All four Burgess brothers at their prime. Luke, Tom, and George, and then you got the bigger behemoth on the back row, in the back row, and then you got Greg Inglis out back, and then you got Isaac Luke just absolutely axing everyone in his path. If anyone runs at him,
you're the bully.
yeah, my Uncle Bully. Oh my goodness, he's a funny dude.
He's a little weapon though, eh, brother? Like, I think people forget, like obviously Cam Smith, gun hooker, but like in that time, like he was, it was probably those two were probably the best, for like for a long time together. Isaac, I don't think gets his flowers for how good he was, bro.
No. Well,
and
you
deserved
tell
that
me
grand final too.
who practices tackling on straight bar posts and straight goalposts? Only a crazy man would do that.
The man from Hawera.
Oh my goodness.
Taranaki hardcore.
Right.
Yeah.
He but yeah, he I remember Ivan telling me that, and I was like, and how do you want me to do that? I was like, how do you want me to smash
them.
all four brothers? And he goes, just go out there and do your best. And I said, all right, sweet. So, bro, off the kickoff, as soon as I got in there, off the kickoff, Tom Burgess runs at me, absolutely made a grenade. And then I'm at marker, and they've done this X play. George Burgess coming back against the green on my other shoulder, right? Absolutely made a grenade. So I think I made like 4 tackles out of the 5, and like as soon as he kicks it, I'm like, just like breathing for life. I'm like, oh my gosh. But then
probably energy dump though, too, docs.
Oh
like
gosh.
to have all of your life, all of the stuff you went through, from nearly dying, everything that's going on, to get to a point where you think your career's over, then you get a lifeline from Gus, and you work for 2 years, and you finally get there. It makes sense that you would be exhausted even just from that, like mentally, to be like, wow, like I'm here now, I'm finally here, and then now you want me to take on the Burgesses. Oh, here we go. All right.
So it was like, it was a culmination of everything, exactly how you were saying. You put into it exactly what you're going to get out of it. And I remember playing that game, and then I even remember like the first tackle I made on Greg Inglis. I was like, oh crap. I was like, just don't get palmed. I was like, don't get palmed off. Just don't get palmed off.
Well, what's he like to tackle, docs? Is he, because I hear he's like crazily strong too.
Bro, he's like crazy Hmong strong. He was, who was telling me? I think it was Alex Johnston. Alex Johnston was telling us one day in All Stars camp, like the boys had like a wrestling comp.
Yep.
And GI just like threw around everyone, like Sam Burgess.
Yeah, I heard that.
All the Burgess brothers, like no one could.
Sam talked about that too, bro.
Yeah,
Sam talked about that like he was but if you left GI alone and didn't like go too hard on him, he would just go whatever you went.
Yeah,
but if you went too hard, then GI will just smoke you.
Yeah, just turn green and just throw everyone around. So
you're the GI.
Right, he was.
Did you look up to GI like as an indigenous brother? Did you look up to him too, like in that way, like fucking? Because bro, one of the baddest in the game.
Yeah,
like,
man. Well, I remember that year. So it was that year that I debuted in. Well, yeah, you got that photo of me. That was the first time that I played in the All Stars, and I remember I looked around. I was like, oh heck, like. You got Friday, you got Greg Bird, you got GI, you've got Will Chambers, you got all these boys here that, like, heck, like these are the boys. Yeah, I hadn't even played against some of these brothers yet, and I was like,
but you just looked up to them.
Yeah, and bro, Andrew and David Feeder were the ones that took me under their wing. But also, I look back and I go, I don't know how good that was to do that, because when we had our camp, bro, those two used to just knock on my door and go like, "Oi, let's go get a feed."
Yeah, the boys. Oh yeah, the boys.
I was like, here I am, like, oh yeah, counting my calories, like watching my eating, and then here these two come knocking on my door, going, "Come on, let's go get a bucket from KFC. Let's go get Macca's. Let's go get Hungry Jack's." I was like, bro, how are we gonna run on the weekend? They're like, don't worry about it. We're gonna be okay.
You're the boys. Let's get a big bopper,
It was so funny, man. Andrew,
and yeah.
Andrew and David just like they made that camp like real chilled for
But
me.
they looked after you, Docs.
Bro, they
They
looked
looked
after
after
me,
you.
man. They yeah, I was just in this like little trance over the whole week about like starstruck, but also, you know, you're not here to be starstruck. Like you're here to,
Yeah.
even though
Do a
it's
job.
even though it's an exhibition game, you're I was learning about my TI history as well. Wasn't really
Oh, you
close
didn't
with my
really know.
didn't really
Okay.
know about my TI history. Um,
Mm.
my grandmother was the one that was born on one of the islands there called Darnley
Oh.
Island, and there's a few boys from there that are playing in the NRL now, and
Who's that, brother? Can you name some of them or the top?
um, if I'm not mistaken, I think David's family's from there. David Fafita's family's
Yeah.
from Darnley, um, but
You're talking about
she
Gold Coast
moved,
Titan David
yeah,
Fafita, eh?
yeah, and they she moved straight over to Sydney from there, but I yeah, I had no idea about my TI history, and um, when I when I was learning about the indigenous history, it sort of just brought me back to reality. Like, all right, I got a job here, but then right, the team were reversing. Goodness me, that was like the first time I got to play against Cam Smith, and
What was
yeah,
it? What
bro.
was that like, brother? Was you
Well, there's no rest, no resting there.
nah?
Every forward, any prop that ever says to you, "Oh, I don't take a back, like I don't take a break." Like if the play the ball goes the opposite way, and you're the prop that is lucky enough to sit on the opposite side of the defense where you don't have to get up,
Mm-hmm.
right? Cam Smith would literally expose that middle forward that was trying to be lazy on the other side
Every time. Yeah.
every single time. He was like, you just couldn't rest with Cam Smith, and that's just how great of a player he is. Um, but yeah, that World All Stars team that we played the first time they brought it in, they were stacked.
Who
Yeah,
was in there?
yeah,
Who else was in there?
yeah. Brett Morris,
Oh yeah.
yeah, Brett Morris, Conrad
No.
Hurrell,
Hear that,
Connie
Connie?
Hurrell, Connie Hurrell. I think he had Nene McDonald on the other side. James Croker,
Jared Kirker?
Jared Croker. Uh, yeah, I can't. I think Jeremy Smith played in that. He played at lock.
Yeah.
George Burgess. Yeah,
Kiwi Jeremy Smith.
yeah, yeah. George Burgess.
Wait.
Yeah,
Wait.
I
You
think
see Cam Smith G
uh,
enough? That's a weapon.
right, it was ridiculous, man. It was ridiculous because like Cam Smith, I think like Cam Smith came off, and then they put Michael Ennis on, and then Michael Ennis like put this massive hit on Edric Lee, our winger.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, so no, they
Was JT playing there? That one? Or
no. Our halves were Aiden. I think it was Aiden Caesar and Jamie
oh yeah.
Sowell.
Oh, did you not get to did you get to play with JT or no?
Yeah, I got to play with him the year after this All Stars
Oh,
that I debuted. We played the World All Stars again. That was at Newcastle, but
what
that
was
was the
that like,
year that
brother?
just another starstruck moment. Just you could so even amongst the crowd, all you could hear was Thurston saying, "Right, Lani, you take the ball up at this point. It doesn't matter who's there. Get to
Yeah,
that point."
get to
And
that
when you
post. Oh yeah.
get to that post, get to that player, like make sure he's the one that that marker, because we're going to hopefully expose someone in the next play. So always thinking about that next play, and that's what made him great. He was able to, and he did the exact same thing at training. He goes, look, get to this point, we're going to have X amount on this open side, and this is what we're going to do. So you just when you have someone like that doing that, well then my role is, okay, I've just got to run the right line, and that's it.
Simplifies your game, eh?
Mate, at any point, you ask any player if someone can simplify their role just a bit more, it helps. So with Thurston, that's how he rolled. That's what he did, and it was one of the moments where I was like, wow, like this is really cool that I get to play with Jonathan Thurston.
100%, brother. Yeah. Indigenous All-Stars. You ended up playing a few games for Penrith though, because like nearly 50 odd games for the Panthers as well.
Yeah. I got to I was there for a good little chunk from 2013 to 2017. Yeah,
and even got to play like a bit of city country as well. What did that mean to you, brother? Like, you know, was that the second to last one too?
It was the second to last one. It was also Christian Wolf had actually rang me as well, and he was like, "Oh, we want you to play for Tonga," and I think they played Samoa at the Gold Coast, at Gold Coast, at Skilled Park, is what it was called back then, and I'm pretty sure that was the game, because I remember I was watching it, and I think it was like when Cassiano like ran about 40 meters and saved. And like you just see this.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Fly,
yeah,
and he
saved the try. Eh?
Saves the try from Tonga scoring at the last minute.
Yeah, that game was intense.
Yeah, and so I was like deeply honored that they thought of me to come and play for Tonga. But I said to him, like, look, I'm gonna choose City. I'm gonna play for City. That was sort of the year where I was like, I'm going to try and put my name forward to play, to try and be considered for the Blues. And it was that whole week was like really, really awesome as well, because I remember the media was coming out saying City have got no chance, and they even did like a little write up about us. There was about 4 or 5 of us. It was me, Nathan Brown from Manly, Aaron Gray that was playing with the Rabbitohs, and
Sharks too, eh? Played for the Sharks as well.
Ryan Madison. Gray? Yeah, and Ryan Madison from Parramatta.
Madison.
There was 4.
Wait, Madison did Madison have a mean game that game too? Was he?
Yeah, he had a great game. He played. I think he played 80 minutes. Or he played close to it. As our left back rower, but I just remember the papers just completely writing us off because country was stacked, and we ended up going out there like it ended up being like a high scoring game, but it was really good overall. I got to meet Steve Roach, got to meet Nathan Blacklock.
You're the Nathan Blacklock.
Yeah, man.
Backflipping machine, try scoring machine.
And it was like those were sort of the like rugby league just sort of let me meet some of the heroes of the game, and I never shied away from going up to him. I always went up to him like, oh, bro, I loved watching you play. Like, can I get a photo with you? Type of thing, and even when we got to play the Warriors, I think we played the Warriors that year in Christchurch.
Yeah,
and we got to play at the Crusaders home ground, and that was pretty cool. And
were you a Crusaders fan as well when you were a kid?
Nah, bro. I had no idea about rugby.
Oh yeah.
I never watched rugby in New Zealand. I watched when like New Zealand would play just to watch the anthems and the haka, but
Oh yeah.
um,
Yeah. Otherwise, meh.
bro, I was like, meh, never gave it a thought. But bro, yeah, but that was the first time I met Ruben Wiki as well.
Yeah, the Ruben Wiki.
Bro, and I went up full on, like went up to him, like spoke to him, took a photo of him, and yeah, it was just like seeing these guys that I used to watch when I was younger. Yeah, I just went up to him and
For the
took
team you
photos
used
of
to
him,
support too.
spoke
The
to him.
team you
Yeah,
used to
man.
barrack for.
Yeah, I even told him, I was like, bro, I only became a Warriors fan because I used to watch you run around with them, and
Yeah, that's
so
cool, man.
yeah, it
There you
was
go.
that was awesome. But yeah, the whole city game and the whole city experience was great. It was
Written off and he's
written
flipped the
off, man.
narrative, eh?
Yeah, man. It was it was funny, man. It was funny, bro. Brad Fittler, I don't know, man. You can sort of see the method to the madness, but
Yeah.
bro, we just
Was he a bit of a tripper?
man, there's too many stories.
Yeah, I heard a few on the boat.
Too many stories, man. But
Hey.
he got us wildly drunk. He got the whole team drunk. Yeah, just literally just got the whole team drunk. We went to like the Strand Hotel right by King's Cross, and this was after feeding the homeless in Sydney. And
Yeah.
he goes, "Oh, look, we're just gonna chill out here, have a few beer wars, and have anything you want to eat. It's on the city team. So like we all just chill there, get absolutely leathered, and then 4 a.m. the next day, he's like knocking on doors, going, "Come on, training." Oh,
Oh,
I
setups.
remember it was the funniest thing. All right, so I might throw him under the bus, but
That's all love, brother.
for the last, for the
It's
last.
all love. Yeah, let's
So
go. Let's go.
Adam Fanua Blake gets called up for City, right?
Up the was.
Not many people remember this, right? But like Adam Fanua Blake gets called up, and I think he was like even in the team photo with us, and um, I remember he was like ordering nonstop on the room service, like purchasing every film known to man on the TV in our
Yeah.
hotel, and then literally like he even got like his match payment for the week, and then he turned, and then for some reason New Zealand come and notify City, and they say, "Oh, Adam can't play because it says he's a Kiwi." It's so funny because as soon as like they told Adam, I remember Adam come to my room, and I was roomed with Darcy Lussick.
Hold up, and he's already got his match payment, as you
Bro,
say.
so he's got his match payment. He's
My
like, bro,
man.
yeah. He's like, I'm not giving that money back.
Yeah, hard.
Yeah. He was like, I'll go straight to the pokies now and just throw it, throw it on hearts.
That's
So
it,
it
cuz.
was so funny, man. He like ordered room service. He like drank everything. He drank all like the alcohol in the mini fridge. Just like bled it dry, and then he just up and Scarboed out of there.
Oh, my man, bro. I like that.
Oh, it's so funny, man.
Cracked
so
it,
funny.
brother. Cracked it. I'm off to the Kiwis.
Yeah, literally, he's like, I'm off to play with the Kiwis.
That's cool, dog. I like that.
But that night where like Brad Fittler got us leathered, like me and Darcy were just drinking like Reds all night.
Who's Darcy? Darcy Lussick?
Darcy Lussick, yeah.
Yeah.
So me and Darcy were just chilling in the dark, just drinking, and the knock comes, and bro, you just see everyone on the bus with their shades on, putting the curtains on the windows, trying to cover up. And then Fiddler, like Brad, just comes on, and he just looks like fresh as a daisy. Doesn't look hungover, and he just says, "Right, so we're going to just do 3 minutes of meditation on the bus before we leave, and just want you to visualize the training session, how you're going to perform." And bro, as soon as he said that, and it went quiet, all that you hear is like snoring. Everyone's just like, everyone's out cold. Oh man! And then
they were visualizing, but everyone was visualizing.
Yeah, visualizing, all right. And then, so everyone's asleep the whole way there, and we start training, and everyone's eyes are like squinting because like the alcohol's burning their eyes, and then like he made us do yoga after it. Oh my gosh! Everyone was like just laying there, refusing to do it. Some fell asleep, others did it, but were like about to spew. And Fiddler's just there, just having like the time of his life. Like nothing's phasing him at all.
Did he drink?
He drank some of us like under the table.
What a weapon, eh? Drink hard, party hard, train hard, man. Weapon.
Man.
Seasoned professional, eh?
But he turned into a fish. That's how good he was. He just didn't matter what he was drinking. He just kept going. But, yeah, man, it was like, but it brought us together, and that's the method to the madness. Like he knows how to bring teams together, especially from boys from different teams, different backgrounds. He knows how to break all those walls down for us to trust each other, bond with each other, and it's a testament to him.
And besides this last couple of years, he won a few Origins too. I think most successful besides August, wasn't he? In Origins, so
yeah.
Good on you, brother. It obviously works.
Man.
And so going on from there, brother, like, and what a time and what an experience, and thank you for sharing, brother. But you obviously end up playing for Tonga. You end up playing for Tonga, a test. How did that come about? What ended up happening there, Docs?
So I well, that was 2017, and I was coming off the bench for Penrith at the time under Anthony Griffin, and the whole ordeal sort of happened, and it was something that I was hoping would happen because I had ticked off City, and the next thing that I wanted to do was play for Tonga, and then when Christian Wolf rang me, the first thing that I did was I rang my dad, and I couldn't even like get out the first sentence without crying because I knew how much this would mean to him. And so even him on the other line, on the other side, was like crying. Like it just went quiet, and all I could hear was him just saying like, "Oh, like I'm so happy for you, I'm proud of you," and that whole camp in itself was really special because all of us came together. Yeah, John Opawati there, just being the class clown, just being the team clown, and
the finger man.
Yeah. The boys, he was just there to literally rile the boys up, and if any prank went down, it'd always be on him, and he didn't care. He didn't care what happened, but like he knew, if it's for the boys, like if it's to make the boys laugh, come together at my expense, then I'm all for that. Like I didn't care. I didn't care what happens to me. So
that's cool, brother. That's cool.
Yeah, man.
Because he, like, before John, like there wouldn't have been that many Tongans that played in the top flight before that. There wouldn't be too many, right?
No,
wouldn't have been.
No, it would have been him, Solomon Homono, that played with Manly and played with the Dogs.
wasn't there a Fifita that used to play in the 80s as well?
Yeah.
As well. Was it like
Willie Manu played
oh
at the Tigers.
yeah, Wally Manu.
Yeah, there would have been a few Tongans rolling around.
Yeah,
Only a
but
fair few, like you were saying.
not
But
yeah, like a handful maybe back in
uh,
compared to
yeah,
now.
yeah,
So,
and
like in a way he's a big time OG. Oh John.
yeah, man, yeah. Well, I never. When I look back, I never. There was like Owen Guttenbill.
Arwen, yeah, Arwen.
Right,
Up the was.
he played for Tonga as well, and I never
Yeah.
realized that he was Tongan as well.
Oh,
So
you didn't know he was Did you think he was
no,
Māori or something?
yeah, I thought he was just being full Māori, but that's what I mean. So there was the World Cup that got played around Sydney, around Australia, and one of the games that I got to go and watch when I was about 14 was Tonga versus Samoa. Funny enough, at Penrith.
who
But
was in that game? 14. Who was in that game that you can remember playing for Tonga?
Owen, my cousin was playing at hooker. Tavita
Tevita,
Latu.
yeah, Tevita Latu. Another warrior, hey
Yeah,
brother.
yeah. He played for the Warriors. Played for
Yeah, brother.
Cronulla. I think he played for
And
Manly as well.
yeah, I
Back
remember
back in the
Tevita, brother.
heyday. Damn, it was all the
What else would
Payer
it be?
brothers, all the
Oh
Payer,
yeah,
all the Payer
yes,
brothers.
of course.
Mickey,
What was it?
Lapidi, Eddie.
Lopini, Mickey, Eddie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Folletti Matteo was that
Bro. Wait,
half? Was that for
how
half or
gun was
5'8"?
Feletti, eh? How gun was
Yeah,
Feletti like
bro.
just so skillful, eh, brother?
Yeah, man. But see, I knew his family because his older brother,
Mm-hmm.
Cooper Mateo, used to play with my brother for Two Blues.
Oh,
So that's
the one that was a
so
gun
yeah.
half.
So his older brother was just as good.
True.
Folletti's older brother, yeah. And so there was a few.
Who did you look up to the most when you were a kid? Like who was the one? Like if you had to say one player that you looked up to when you were a kid, like that was like he was the man. Like this fellow's the man. You know who do you reckon?
Bro, I looked up to Ruben when he went at the Warriors, but as I moved from the Tigers comp to the Bulldogs, I
Mm-hmm.
always looked to Mark O'Mealy and
Oh, Oga.
and Asatasi as well.
Roya
Yeah,
Satasi.
and Mason as well. So there were these big boppers that like they never took a back step.
Mm.
And
Dogs of war too. Yeah,
yeah,
dogs
man.
of war. Those fellas
And
were
so
too.
yeah, man. And actually, I when I was playing with Penrith, when I played with Penrith, we got to play against Wyong Roos in the New
Yeah.
South Wales Cup, and Mark O'Mealy.
Was he coach or something? Or was he
No,
playing for them?
He was playing
Oh,
for him,
playing. Oh, true.
bro. And I went up to him after the game, and it was the exact same thing. I was like, bro, I loved watching you play for the Dogs, man. I was
Oga.
like, yeah. I was like, you like, and I was telling him what I'm telling you is now, like it was just that stardom thing, you know. But yeah, he was great sport, great person, and yeah, I think he's still helping the Dogs boys out now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I've seen him a few times, and some of the media posts down at training.
Yeah. Cool,
And
my
that's
brother. It's on. Shout out to Marco
yeah,
Mealy, man.
yeah,
Beast.
yeah,
Just
man.
ran it like a gangster. Yeah. Didn't
Yeah,
give a damn.
he only knew one direction, and that was just to go forward. That was it. Never took a
It's it,
back step
brother.
to no one. But
No way.
yeah,
So
yeah,
Tonga,
yeah.
and there was a picture. I was gonna put it up as the thing, but I don't know if you're pulling. What were you pulling the fingers, or what were you doing in that photo? That Tonga
No, I was
photo.
like that. Yeah, I was just like that. I was like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it was just like a random
Passion, eh?
thing, really. Yeah, it was like, there was a video of someone recording me whilst we were in the tunnel, and
Mm.
all I can all that I was doing was just crying in it, and it was and I looked down on my wrist, and the only thing that I wrote on there was Dad, and
Oh, true.
yeah, and that was
That's
like,
interesting, brother. That's interesting. You feel that way because, like,
yeah,
were you close with your Tongan like side, even though your dad wasn't there? Like, did you
no,
know much about your Tongan side at all growing up?
no, no, I met a few cousins of mine and a few uncles of mine. Um, that was about it. I yeah, not many people know, but like I've got Italian as well
Oh
in
yeah, I
my
knew.
in my
I thought.
bloodline, and
Oh,
I got to play for Italy when I was younger.
oh, true. I thought Wikipedia was lying, so I didn't want to say that. My bad. You're the Italian.
Right. Shout out to whoever made that Wikipedia page. I still don't know to this day who even did that, but
But they were
it
right.
didn't
Eh?
matter.
Let's go.
Bro, it didn't matter what I did or what I signed. As soon as like I look up on Wikipedia like 2 or 3 days later, bro, they already had it updated and everything. I'm like, "Hey, who is this?
Hey, it's your biggest fan, Docs.
Oh my goodness!" I was like, someone's spying on me.
Yeah, watch this about after this episode comes out. There'll be once one one set
Yeah,
with Aaron while he spent all the money that he got from City and then went to New
yeah.
Zealand camp.
Yeah, Wikipedia, the most updated status on my Wikipedia has just done a podcast with Shubz Live
Yeah, with Shubz. Oh my gosh.
on
Yeah,
Mind the
no,
Mic podcast. Cheers,
it's it,
man.
my brother. Mind the
But
mic. No, I mean
yeah,
my brother, but mean that you're rich dad. You had the emotions. You didn't do the
yeah,
fingers.
man.
You did the
It
ratatata.
was
Playing for
yeah.
Tonga. You remember much about the
Yeah.
game or?
I remember the whole thing about, even learning the anthem,
Oh yeah,
learning the
I didn't think
super
about that
chow.
too.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was the whole thing. And the night before the night before the game, we sat in a circle, and Hopper Hopper just said to us, right, each of yous that are debuting this game, yous are gonna stand up and tell us what this jumper means to you,
Mm.
to put it on. And yeah, it was like a surreal moment, because all these, like, not one of us did it just talking. As soon as like it was our time, we just started crying
True.
nonstop. Yeah,
What
it was
did you
just
say, Docs? Do you remember? Or
I said I said that I'm doing this for my dad. Uh, my dad come from humble beginnings, obviously coming from this tiny nation to this big this big island of a country, Australia, and uh, he doesn't ask for much. He doesn't speak much. He just lets his actions do the talking more so than anything else. And uh, I know how important this is to him, and I'm not gonna like let him down, and I'm not gonna let you guys down. But this has probably been the best week that I've ever had in a camp, because it's a part of my life, my identity, what I look like. This is like the it was like I was just full of emotion, but it was just that case of getting trying to get through it all without crying too much. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I took it all in when we did the anthem. I looked out for my family. I saw my mom, saw my dad, saw my wife there, and yeah, I was just like just singing it, just singing it for my dad. Like my dad never asked for anything
Mm.
except my jersey. He just said, "Can I have your jersey?" I said, "Yeah,"
100. Oh, of
and that was it.
course. Eh?
So yeah, it was like a surreal thing, just being able to play that one game, being able to do that for my dad, giving him giving him the jersey, and he doesn't wear it. He just like has it there hanging in his room, in the room, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's just something that he'll get to hold on to forever. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
That probably means just as much to him as if he like, or even more probably than hanging the flag itself up, brother. Like, you know, because
yeah, yeah,
that is the flag, but that's the flag that he also created. Like
yeah, man, yeah, man,
you represents you, your siblings,
yeah,
maybe even the times that he was, that kind of stuff. So that's
yeah,
beautiful, my brother. That's a
yeah,
beautiful moment. Can
yeah,
you speak on wifey a little bit, just quickly? Like, I don't know
yeah,
how you've met and all that, because obviously she's probably been a backbone for you through your journey as well. You haven't really.
yeah, yeah, man. Well, but I met her at like one of the seediest pubs in the world,
Yeah,
Sydney,
the
man.
CD pub.
Oh, bro. Uh, hey, for those viewers in Sydney, if you know where the Peakhurst Inn is, then yeah, you know when I say seedy, how seedy it is, right? But
What are we talking, like once for Warriors?
oh nah, not that bad.
Not that bad.
Uh, there's a bit
Yeah,
there's a bit of class to it. Nah, not
a
that
little bit.
much.
Ah, yeah.
Nah,
But
not that
yeah,
much. But
that's where you met her, eh? What was it?
I met her there. I was like close to paralytic. She was the sober driver. Yeah. And so I had to like sort of pretend that I was sober, or pretend that I'm all right. Like I can handle my drink. But
Mm.
like clearly she was like, you can't, like you're like you're drunk. But I was like sort of trying to prove to her, no, like I'm not drunk. I know what you're saying. I remember everything you said. And but she ended up taking me home that night, dropping me off. But the funniest thing about it was I snuck out that night, and my dad started work at like 6 a.m. in the morning, and she drops me home at the front, and my dad is opening the door to come out, and he can't see into the car because the lights were on, and I like I ducked down in front of the glove box, and my wife,
Oh yeah. Hold on,
my
your big ass stuck down.
yeah,
Holy
bro,
Rick.
I know. Oh, I had to like reef the front seat back, and then
Yeah,
put
of
my whole
course.
body down,
Holy
and
Rick.
yeah, and my wife is like laughing at me, going, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "No, no, it's my dad. Like, if he sees me, if he sees me out, he's gonna beat my ass in front of you." So like she had to like reverse out, drive down the road, park up, and then I had to like watch my dad walk because he walks to the train station. I just see like his big frame with his backpack walking across the road, but like he looked down at the car where he could see us. I was like, oh, I'm dead. Like I just know when he comes home from work, he's gonna flog me.
Yeah.
But he was all right. He was I met my wife there, and you know she lived around the area as well where I lived in Punchbowl, Bankstown,
Yeah.
and she she came from a sporting background as well. She played Oztag. She played rugby as well.
Mm.
She got to play for Australia on a few occasions, both in the 15s and in the sevens for Rugby
Well,
Australia.
what's Mumsy's name? Are we allowed to shout her out? All good if we can't,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah,
No
yeah,
stress.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Kanina
Yeah, that
Tarita.
Kanina. Oh,
Yeah,
shout out to Kanina. Well, Kanina Latu, eh, or what?
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
she made rugby as like Tarita, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, but she was a gunman. But when I tore my shoulder, you know, this is a credit to her though. That when I tore my shoulder, she said to me, "Look, I want to make these things. I want to make New South Wales. I want to make Australia." So then I ended up like just training her as like one of the boys because I was out for the
Yeah.
whole season with my shoulder,
Yeah.
and I said, "All right, well then, if you're willing to make this commitment, then I'll be there every day. I'll make the trip down to you. We'll train in the morning, train after work, and we'll get this done." And bro, she
Let's
just
go.
turned into a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Um, And then I started when I was able to like run a little bit, I started like running the ball at her, like as if I'd run at you, like a man,
Yeah, yeah.
for her to tackle me. I remember the first time she did it, and I like bumped her off, and she went rolling, and like I busted her nose, and she started crying, and she was like, "Why'd you do that to me?" And I was like, "Well," I said, "put it this way: if you can get used to me running at you and tackling me," I said,
The girls are gonna be easy.
God, yeah. I was like, God knows what you're gonna do to a girl.
Mm.
So, bro, when she got to a point where she was where she could like hold herself and she was proper strong, she full on like axed me in half one day.
Oh, let's go. Like actual, or did
Like
you let her?
actually, like Uncle
She
Bully
got you.
axed me in half.
Yeah, that's it.
Got under me, and
And I just want to say, if you ran at me, that's what happened too. Nah, just
yeah,
joking. I'll
bro,
get bumped off,
bro,
cuz.
she she the first game, there was a girl on the other side that was like as big as me, but she ran very slow. Anyway, you just
Okay.
see my wife like full on poleaxe her,
Yeah.
and like I was like I was the trainer. I was the trainer for the girls team. So
Oh, true. Oh,
yeah,
let's
yeah.
go.
Shout out to the Rockdale girls. Rockdale.
Everyone's getting shout out. Shout out to
Yeah, bro.
Mumsy. Shout out to
This is
Rockdale. Shout
yeah.
out to the city pub.
This is
Yeah.
shout out episode. This is
Shout out to the homeless shelter. They birthed
bro.
a weapon. You know what I
Too many
mean?
shout outs, man.
Shout out to AFP.
Oh,
If anybody is listening in like New South Wales City, they don't exist anymore, and it's all good. All good, brother. All
oh
good.
man,
Safe as, brother.
bro.
Wait,
But
shout
yeah,
out to
man.
her anyway, brother.
Yeah,
That's fucking
yeah,
awesome, brother. And your
yeah, man.
backbone, obviously, in the game
My
through your
backbone,
career
bro.
as well.
Yeah, she's the one that sort of humbled me. You know, she actually, you know what? She actually brought me to coming to know who God is. You know,
Oh, yep.
she came from a faith upbringing with her mum and dad, and she actually said to me in the car one day, she said, you know, if we can't put our relationship in God's hands and have Him a part of our life, then I don't want to be with you because
Oh,
my dad.
she put the hard word on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, bro. Well, you know what? This is sort of what got me hooked on, right? So I that night I said, right, all right, well, I don't wanna lose you. So this Sunday
Mm,
I'll come to church with you. And we played the Roosters at Belmore Sports Ground. I was at the Bulldogs at this time, and
mhm.
we just beat them. And we're singing the team song, and David Clem's in the booth next to me, and he's crying nonstop. I said to him, "What's wrong?" He said, "Well, after the game, his sister collapsed, and she had to get rushed to hospital." So I've never said this to anyone. I was never a strong, like a staunch Christian. My
Mhm.
dad used to take me to church, but it was always like at the earliest, like it was like the first service of every Sunday morning, which was like at
Yep.
6 or 7 o'clock. Which person wakes up at that time? Only crazy people do. But every time my dad took me there, bro, he used to. So we went to a Catholic church, and he used to pray. But luckily for me, he always did it at the back row of the church, and so you'd see him praying and me resting my head on the wall, sleeping the whole
Oh, no,
time.
no, no. No, you're praying docs.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
And then you know when you're asleep and you do the huh, or you
Yeah.
flinch. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what I was doing, and my dad
Yeah.
just kept waking me up. And so I I said to David Clem, I was like, look, I'm going to this new church tonight. I'll pray for her. And he said,
Mm.
oh, thanks for that. So on the way to church, I just felt like I was betraying my mom and dad. They brought me up in a certain way, and my wife was taking me to this Pentecostal church in Belmore.
Oh,
Hey,
yes.
another shout out to the Pentecostals of Sydney. right?
There you go, brother.
Right.
Shout out,
Another shout out.
Kazis.
Right. So this church, man, all right, they had a guest speaker on that night, and I did not hear one word that he was saying. And the reason for that was because he goes, I want you to turn all the lights off and just leave one big light in the middle. So because he did all that, all the congregation was sort of in the dark. And here I am just playing a game, and I'm dead set. I'm dead tired, and I've gone to sleep in the aisle seat, have not heard one word he said, and then for some reason my wife like nudged me in the shoulder, and I woke up, and he was just about finished. And the guest speaker gives the microphone to the pastor, and the pastor says, God is telling me that there's someone here who is going through a problem or knows of someone going through a problem with their brain. I'm here to tell you they're healed. And I looked at my wife and I was like, why would he say that? Out of all things to say, why would he say that? And it went over her head. It didn't.
Yeah,
it
because
didn't
she didn't
connect
know,
with
eh?
her. She forgot.
Okay.
She completely
Oh, she
forgot
forgot.
what I
Yeah.
told her. And it felt like this wind smacked me in my face, and I just started uncontrollably crying because I was like, like, why am I feeling this? Why does it feel like something's tugging at me? And it was at that point where in this church setting, he welcomes people who want to come out of their chairs and who want to get prayed for, all right, who want healings, who want answered prayers, who have been battling with addiction or feel like they're like in bondage, right? To come up out of your seats, seek for prayer. And because that's what the Bible says, the body edifies one another. We lay hands on one another. We pray for the sick to be healed. We pray for miracle signs and wonders. All right. So all of this culminated in this one night. And when he started to usher people to come up, it felt like someone grabbed my arm. And I walked up there, and here I am walking, and I'm looking at people crying. I'm looking at people lying on the floor, wailing, saying like praying to God. And I said, Lord, I don't know why this has happened. I don't know why you allowed that man there to say that specific thing, but there's a reason for it. And the next day, bro, I went into training. I went up to David and I said to him, how's your sister? And he said, bro, craziest thing ever. He said, while we were there, they were examining her, and in a blink of an eye, her whole heart rate dropped, like went normal again. She opened her eyes. She sat up. She was like, oh, what's
Oh, bro,
everyone
I'm
doing?
getting goosebumps, cuss. I'm getting
Bro,
the old goosebumps around
she
here.
was like,
Hey, let's go.
she got up, she walked around, she goes, oh, I'm fine. They did a scan on her head, and whatever happened, it was fine.
Far out.
Whatever the pressure had like been released on her brain, and everything was fine.
Let's go.
And that,
shout out to the sister too, eh?
yeah,
As well.
yeah, man,
No Clem.
bro, and it just
Miracle.
sort of hit me within me to go, wow, like that's no coincidence. That's not by chance. That was something only God could have done. And so that's been the biggest drive about what I truly believe, where I am, what I've done, what I've seen, what I've experienced, all through rugby league, is that church and my faith has like played this leveling in my life of like it's humbled me to understand, right, rugby league is full of temptation, it's full of thrills, it's full of your never like your YOLO moments. But church humbled that to say, like, like understand, like it was like God was saying, well, understand now where you are and the pedestal you're on and how much influence you actually have over the people that watch you, dare I say, worship you as fans, as a rugby league player for your team.
That's
Like,
accurate, brother.
yeah, it was this thing of humble. It was just humble pie, understanding that where you are now, I come to understand that it wasn't just on my own efforts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so,
beautiful, brother. That's a beautiful story, and
but
that
yeah,
obviously
man,
pulled you into God more, into your
bro,
journey.
and that's what ushered me to go to the Gold Coast. That's what
Oh, true.
ushered me.
That's how you ended up in the Gold Coast.
It happened. It happened out of that because
Yeah,
Garth Brennan left Penrith,
yeah.
went to the
Your New South
Titans.
Wales Cup coach.
Yeah, went to the Titans, and then I messaged him while I was at my home when I saw the big press conference they gave about him. And then he messaged me back going, "Oh, you know, there's a spot for you up here if you ever want to come up here." And obviously, I prayed about it. But there was a church up there connected to the church that I was going to in Sydney.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah. Uh, um, and so that just and then that sort of made the transition really easy. Yeah. So another shout out to Grace Point Tabernacle, man.
Shout out to Grace Point Tabernacle.
Yo,
Yeah.
and they and bro, you know, when I was there, it was sort of some of the hardest times in my life because I'd never experienced scrutiny, had never experienced being under that much pressure, under that much,
True.
um,
Yeah. Mind you,
under
that was
that
probably
much.
was that your
Yeah,
biggest wicket at the time too, brother, that you were on
yeah.
there?
It
Because
was. It was.
remember the media likes to
Yeah,
blow that up. You know what I
mate.
mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah. There was a lot of scrutiny. There was a lot of death threats. There was a lot of
True.
criticism.
Difference.
Yeah, yeah. Just like, you know, you're taking up all our money and you're not doing anything, and you know, I know where you live, and I'm like, well, if you
Come
know
here
where I
then.
live, yeah,
Come over.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
remember I messaged one person. I was like, well, my door's always open if you know where I live.
Mm,
I said we can either have a cup of coffee and have a chat about it, or we can go the other way.
yeah. You
I was like,
choose.
I'm easy. Yeah. So it was a tough period in my life, but it also played another big part in my life because I met a brother over there, man, that, you know, he was a diehard fan that kept coming to our training, and
Mm-hmm.
all the boys were like talking about him, saying, you know, why is this dude always coming here? Ain't he got a life outside of this? Why is he always coming to our training? Why is he always lingering around? You know,
Okay.
come to find out that, you know, he had a really hard story, had a really hard life, and he was battling depression at the time.
Mm.
And the only thing that he saw that could fix all that was to come to what he loved, and that was the Gold Coast Titans.
I guess
Knew
if the
where,
boys had, I guess
bro,
if the boys
knew where
asked
it
it,
was
they would
going.
have found out, eh?
Yeah. Well,
This is
we
going
found
nuts.
out later. We found out later because he he helped himself. He used to come out onto the field and help like Nathan Peets with his dummy half drills. He used to
Mm-hmm.
come out and help Michael Gordon with his goal kicking, Ash Taylor with his field kicking. Like, he used to grab the balls, bring them all back to the boys so
Yep.
that they could keep practicing. And then over time, bro, he got offered like a volunteer job where, like, he would be able to assist the gear man in doing everything, or setting up all the equipment, filling up the water bottles. And then he got given Titan's gear. And bro, that to him was like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah. My
the
club,
best thing in the world, man. It was,
the
yeah.
club I
And
love. Yeah.
bro, and his name's Adam Johns.
Yeah.
Shout out, Potty.
Shout out,
Adam
shout
Johns,
out Adam Johns. Shout
bro.
out Adam Johns,
Shout out to
baby.
Adam Johns, man. And bro, I
It is the
still
Mind
talk
the
to
Mic
him.
podcast with Leilani Latu.
Yo,
Shout out edition, fam.
yo,
Let's go. We
hashtag
gotta do the
shout out.
small talks. We gotta do
Hashtag
the small
shout
talks.
out.
Maybe we have to do this like every year or something. Do a shout out
Yo,
episode. Hey, talks.
yo, yo. First time for
Yes, okay.
everything, man.
Yeah.
He and bro, I actually asked him to come to church, man. You know,
Yep.
and he said, "Well, you know what? Funny enough, my wife's looking for a church, and I'm just there to support her." And I said, "Oh yeah, that's
Okay.
fine." So he came to the service, and his wife started crying at the worship music.
Okay.
As soon
Yep.
as the worship music started, she started crying. She said, "All right, this is my church. I belong. Like I feel a sense of belonging here." And they still go to that church. I still stay in contact with Adam. You know, I did Bible studies with him. You know, and I remember he said to me one day, he said, "You know, I'm 48 years old, Lani. I'm too old to know what the Bible is, who God is." And I said to him, "Bro, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you're willing to learn who God is and what the Bible is, you know, I've got no doubt that if you give him all of your attention, all of your heart, he will honor that." And so, bro, I did Bible studies with him in the midst of all this criticism that was happening at the Gold Coast.
Did that help you? Did that help you, brother? Like doing that with
Definitely,
him?
man.
Did that?
Yeah. Well, the Bible says, right? It might turn into a little preaching episode here. That
Hey, brother, do your thing,
all
brother.
of
You share
heaven,
you, brother. I'm here
all
to
of
hear from
heaven
you.
rejoices. The Bible says that all of heaven rejoices when one sinner repents. And I said to him, you know, I've been here for close to 3 years, and if it means that one brother gets saved for all of my time here, then I'm happy with that. I'm easy with that. And I still talk to him to this day, man. He still rings me. He still rings me to, you know, fill me in on what he's doing
It's
and
cool, brother.
how much he's
It's,
changed and what he's doing for Grace Point Church.
is
And
he still with the Titans? Is he still helping them out, or?
he was, but it didn't sustain him.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but bro, I went to so how I signed with Warrington, okay,
Yeah.
is
That's in the UK for anybody that doesn't know what that
yeah,
is. Warrington
all of,
Wolves.
I had Wigan calling me, I had Leeds calling me, I had Wakefield calling me, and I wasn't ready to come to England. I was like, man, I ain't going to England. I was like, it's cold, it's
Cold
miserable
ass.
there, it's miserable, it's depressing. Whenever is the sun going to come out there? Never. So I was like, there's no beach, there's nothing there, and it took a guest preacher from Singapore to come to the Gold Coast, and I shared my story to him, and he said, if you're going to go anywhere in England, if you were for a church, he goes, I suggest Liverpool. And when I went in the car that day, the travel distance from my church to my house is only about 15 minutes. In that 15 minutes, I had Warrington ring me, and Warrington, the coach I knew from his name was Steve Price. He's with I think he's with who's
Used
he
to
with
coach the
now?
Dragons back in the day.
Used to coach the Dragons. Used to be at Cronulla. Is he at the Warriors? Is he? Is he? No, he's not the Warriors.
No, that's the wrong Steve Price.
Right, he was another one I looked up to as well.
Yeah,
Steve Price.
Bulldogs legend
Yeah.
as well, and
So,
Warriors.
but yeah, he was there, and he was like, "Lani, I want you to come to Warrington." And when I looked at their team, you know, they had Benny Murdoch Masila was there, Sidalecki, Akawola,
Was Blake Austin there too?
Osto was there. Osto
Yeah.
was there. So there was a few boys there that I knew already, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And when I did the distance between where I was playing, where the home ground was in Warrington to this Liverpool church that this Singapore pastor told me about,
Yep.
15-minute drive.
Oh, solid.
So I said, all right, I'm going here.
Sold. Yep.
That was it. I
So,
was sold. Got over
how
here
long?
January.
How long did it take? Like from when you bling to ending up in the UK?
Bro, week
15
and a
minutes.
half it took for me to I had to pack up my whole house. Didn't
What
even
was
get
wifey
to
like?
it.
Was she like, let's go straight away, or was she like,
Nah, she
was
was
she?
like, she was she was in two minds. It's hard. It's like any son. Like you have the attachment there to not want to leave your family, but
Mhm.
it's more easier to like move but still miss them.
Yeah.
Whereas a woman is like really ingrained, intertwined with their family, and it's really hard. And for my wife, especially, it was hard because we had our boy, and she was already pregnant with our little girl. So it was even harder to like try and persuade her to come over. But she understood. It was like, well, this is rugby league. It's part of the parcel. When I married you, that things are gonna be rocky at times, and we're gonna have to do X, Y, and Z to make it happen. And so she came over here, and we had our little girl over here 4 weeks premature,
Ooh.
and um, my little girl spent her first week in the incubator, and the day that we brought her out, the following day was the national lockdown in England
Oh yeah, that's right. But
in March 12th she was born, and then as of March the 20th, the lockdown hit, and we were
bro,
just stuck at home.
it was pretty lethal in the UK too with the
Yeah,
lockdown as well. With the
yeah, yeah.
and the whole
I mean,
the Super League
yeah,
comp was pretty
yeah,
dead too, eh?
yeah, yeah, bro. It was the whole thing got a massive hit because I remember how bad it was because Toronto Wolfpack were like the big team coming out of Canada, and like they just signed Sonny Bill, um,
That's right. The Wolfpack.
and
Oh yeah, I followed that whole thing too,
yeah,
brother. Like
and so
it was
like
crazy.
yeah, and when I just got over here, um, Toronto was playing Warrington, and I told my father-in-law, "Oh look, Toronto's playing Warrington tonight. Do you want to come and watch? I think Sonny Bill's playing." And he goes, "Yeah." And yeah, we watched that whole game, and then when the lockdown hit, I understood how bad it was because Toronto's chief came out saying like, "I can't pay any of my players." Um, he's asked like Sonny Bill to give up like 70% of his paycheck, but like Sonny Bill got paid like what 3 million or something. It was like something ridiculous.
Yeah, or the papers reported like what 10
It
million or
was it
something like
was
that,
it
eh?
was something
For the two
ridiculous for like two
for
or
the
three
two
years.
seasons. Yeah, for
Yeah,
2 years, I think it was like
yeah,
and the papers 10 mil,
yeah,
so I don't know what it really
yeah.
was, but yeah.
So like, but yeah, I just remember Sonny coming out saying, "Well, no, like I'll give up this amount, but you've got to pay me this set amount." But for all the poor lads that got caught over there, there was who was over there? It was Bodine Thompson, another
Yeah, yeah.
Kiwi.
They were in the
Uh,
same team, eh? The
yeah,
Wolfpack.
Chase Stanley,
Chase
Darcy
Stanley.
Lussick,
Yeah.
Josh
Oh,
McCrone,
your old
Josh
city mate.
McCrone. Yeah, yeah. Josh McCrone. He played for Country.
Was
He played
McCrone?
for
Was he half
Canberra,
what Canberra,
Canberra
halfback
and
hooker?
St
Was a
George.
halfback?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He
yeah, yeah.
played for Canberra and St George.
That's right.
But yeah, there
Because
was a few lads, and
how
they
did that
they
work
got they
though?
got caught.
You know how they could sign Sonny for their there's like a marquee player thing over there, eh? Is that right?
There's a
Or there
marquee
was?
thing. There's like a marquee. You get a set amount of marquee positions and the
Yeah,
amount allocated for them, and then you've got like X amount of quota spots to fill.
yeah.
So those quota spots are like allocated for international players.
Okay.
So how I got to come to Warrington was when they
Tonga.
found out. No, when they found out I was Italian,
Oh, true.
England England was part of the what is it?
European Union at the time.
Yeah, yeah, of the
Before
EU.
Brexit.
That's
Before
right.
Brexit.
So I
Yeah.
just made it in. I just made it in before Brexit. And so
cracked it, cuz.
so if I went on my Tongan passport, it would have been 1 quota point. But then because I went on my Italian, it was like half a quota point, not even. So then they were like, well, yeah, we'll get him for free.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
it.
So that's how
But
they
like,
got me over here.
yeah, but what I'm specifically talking about in this instance is, you know how Sonny Bill was able to be paid that much money.
Yeah.
Is there sort of, is there like a, or from my understanding, there's like a either 1 or 2 marquees that can be off the cap or something, or
Yeah.
like,
And like a lot of third party deals that go along with it. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. And I think,
yeah,
yeah, in Canada, I think what they were trying to do with Toronto was have about 6 or 7 weeks in Canada and then come to England and do
yeah, because
6
it
or
was
7 weeks.
because it's frozen there, eh? For like part of the year, they couldn't, like at the start of the year or something, they can't really play there for the start of the season or something, eh? Till it gets
Yeah.
a bit warmer.
Yeah. So it was like it was a crazy time, man. It was
Yeah,
I mean I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it in the end because I could spend it with my family, but it
yeah.
also like removed it took every single option that I had of where like, oh, I've got to get home. It removed all of it. I couldn't fly. I couldn't even think about flying because over here they closed down the registration office, and that's where I had to get my birth certificate for my daughter.
Oh,
So
true.
for a good 6 to 8 months, my daughter had no registration. She had no birth certificate, nothing that said, "Oh, this is Latu."
Oh, true.
And then on top of that, I couldn't even get a passport for her over here because none of us were British. So then
Oh,
I had to go back. I had to do it from here and speak to the Australian embassy.
consulate. Mm.
Yeah, and then that took 9 months to then
Phew.
just to get as a citizen of Australia. So
That was a crazy period, eh, brother? Like COVID,
bro,
you think like, one, you know how like some people be like, I lived during this time, like you and I, and everybody else that lived. That's down the line, we can tell our grandchildren that we lived in a weird ass
I
time.
know,
Everybody was
yeah,
locked
I know.
inside and
Imagine you're not allowed
crazy.
out. Imagine you get in trouble for being out for longer than 2 hours. Then you feel like, what? What?
What the hell? Yeah,
Bro,
you can only, and then and you have to wear a bloody face cloth, wear a face nappy and all
honest.
this stuff.
But
Yeah,
like,
hard.
bro, so when it all went down, I got real jealous of Australia because when the Prime Minister come out telling everyone you're going to lockdown, Australia just went like that to their Prime Minister and they said, well, no, stuff you, we're not doing that. So like here I am seeing all my family and everyone else just chilling by the barbie at the beach. But then like 9 months go by and we're about to come out of it and then you guys are starting to go into it.
Oh yeah, brother, because that got hectic
Yeah,
on in WA,
yeah,
brother,
bro.
as you know, and like we went like, oh, I mean, we had all those restrictions, but our whole state was locked down, locked out. So
Mm,
if you left WA, you pretty much couldn't come back for like a whole year.
damn.
Like you never could, like pretty much, brother. I know brothers that went for a trip in Queensland,
Yeah,
like, and then couldn't get back into the state, and then like had to find
crazy.
other jobs and stuff over east.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's crazy, man.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
brother.
just the whole thing, man. The whole thing was just
Melbourne got
even
it like
like
the worst. They were the most locked down city in the whole world. I think,
bro
or
that
for
bro that that bro. No shout out to that brother. What's his name?
oh Daniel Andrews. No
Oh,
shout
no
out.
shout out to him. Oh,
No shout out, Gus.
bro, goodness me. No shout out to that dude.
No
That
shout
dude
out to
was
Andrews.
plastered. He was plastered nonstop on our TV, and I was like, bro, what is doing in Melbourne? Melbourne
Bro,
was
but it
like
was, so it
Melbourne
was
was
pretty
like
hectic too. See,
bro,
see,
it's
see
like
them getting shot
Alcatraz.
with bullets and everything. Yeah, holy
That's it. Alcatraz,
rubber
man.
bullets.
You
Yeah.
got like police officers coming up to you. I remember watching this. Police officers coming up to people that had coffee cups, and because your mask was
Checking
down,
them, eh?
and
Checking
checking the
them.
coffee if you had coffee in it. Oh wow!
Bro, I even seen one dude where the police, he shook it, but he didn't believe it was coffee, believed it was just water, like faking his coffee, and opened it up. But even if it was water, maybe they just want to drink water. I'm like, what are you doing? It's still it was hectic.
That whole thing, man, was just like, wow. And but in that period, man, I realized there that, okay, there's a reason why this has all happened, and I'm not gonna be and it's not based on conspiracy, but for me, in my situation, in my life, it was sort of like, all right, there's a reason why this has happened. There's a reason why I can't fly out. I can't do this and that and X, Y, and Z after it. So I had to come to this realization that, like, there's some growing to do here for me and my wife. And bro, literally that's what it's been for 4 years. You know, I've got heaps of my friends, heaps of family back home saying, you know, why are you still here?
Yeah, come
Why are
home.
you still there? Like, come home. And I'm like, well, I'm not ready to come home. There's for me, I've come to understand that especially my walk, like, I'm still really close with God, and so is my wife. And you know, there's a lot of growing to do for me and my wife whilst we're here. You know, you can have all your family around you and depend on them for every single thing. But it's when you get put in the situation where there is no other option but to just depend on mum and dad. You depend on each other. Like, that's when it's like, all right, like, all hands are on deck. You can't do anything now. It's just literally you and mum, and that's it. Like, we got to learn, we got to grow, we got to develop.
That's where the true that's where the true growth happens, though, brother. In the times when everything is against you, when you're, it's like I seen one of those reels, you probably seen it, of Tyson talking about, like, you know, you got to love being like at rock bottom, because once you get there, the only way is up, cuz. And you know, all the learnings and lessons I've ever had is always through the shittiest times or the hardest times, when your back's against the wall. It's where you build true character, where you grow as a human being, where you learn. So yeah, I'm with you, brother. I'm with you. And hey, you got your reasons for staying there. Shout out to Jake Webster too. You know, I was talking to him the other day, and he was saying that
he's not too far from me in Keithley.
Yeah, Keithley, because you know, saying that, like, because he left as a 24-year-old and could have came back, like he was plan was just to go over there. He signed a 3-year deal, but through it he wanted to come home, 2-year deal with an option in his favor on the third. And then like that was the plan, but then he realized that, like, he had sort of ran away from stuff back home, like in himself, and then he had to. He wanted to sort that out before he moved back to Australia and head offers from Storm and that. And, like, you know, like, Storm wanting you to come, you know, go back and play, but he never did. But because he said, no, I'm not going to run away from, I'm going to figure my stuff out here. And then obviously met an English lady, and, you know, now that's home for him now. So no, good on you, cuzzy. Whatever is keeping you there. And you know, I'm sure you'll find it, cuz whatever you're looking for, you and Mumsy, brother. And shout out to the bro God too, here. Shout out to the bro God. Shout out to God, cuzzy. Hey, that's it, my brother. Awesome. Warrington though, before you know, probably skate out of here soon, but before we do, Warrington, and then I got a couple of questions for you, brother, if we can, if that's all right. Sorry, I know I kept you ages.
No,
my bad.
Fine, bro, Warrington was unfortunate, because it was a time where, you know, they and I feel like I might not have been in the best of shape when I came into Warrington's hands, but they had a lot of patience with me. And even over the course of the lockdown, when it all happened, you know, I trained the house down with Sidalecki and Ben Murdoch, and we ended up like all shedding about 8-9 kegs whilst we were training in a couple of months that we were off. And we came back, and then I got to play maybe about 2 or 3 games, and then the whole thing just sort of fizzled out with what was going on with lockdown and everything, so forth. And yeah, you know, I spoke to my coach because my coach had we had a review meeting, and he sort of said to me, you know, even though we signed you for 2 years, we don't know if we want to keep you for the next year. And so I said, all right, well, um, what can I do to change your mind? Like I can come back stronger, fitter for the next
Mm.
year. And he was like, well, um, like maybe you should so my coach said to me, maybe you should consider retiring. So I was like, retiring? I was like, nah. I said, well, I said, can I ponder on it and give you an answer back? And he said, yeah. So then in all of this happened, you know, this is like sort of what caused me and Warrington to fall out. And it was unfortunate the way it happened
Mm.
because I do value Warrington, and you know any club that I go to, I'll always have good intentions about it, good feelings towards it. It's never like a sour feeling to it,
Mm-hmm.
but it was unfortunate the way things fizzled out with my coach, with the Warrington board, but um, I truly believe that it was probably the best thing that could have happened for me because
Okay.
I got offered to come back home by St. George.
Oh.
Yeah, I got offered to come back and play with St. George, and Anthony Griffin was the coach.
Oh yeah,
He
your coach at Penrith.
just got hired, and he said,
Oh,
"Come back
Hook.
home." Yeah, he said, "Come back home." He said, I'll pay for you to get you and your family back home." I said, "No." So it doesn't matter where I go, you guys will just look at me like I'm a piece of meat, and if I get bruised, you're going to replace me with a nice fresh piece of rump. Doesn't matter what I do.
Mm.
So then from that, I just said, right, I'm done. And bro, I can honestly say that for the first year and a bit, I was like proper depressed over it.
Yeah, understandable,
I
brother.
didn't even want to go to the gym, and it got to that point where I was like, if I hear another person tell me what to do, I'm gonna flip.
Mm.
If I even look at a dumbbell, I think I'm gonna flip because you just get put into this whole arena of training, performing, and then playing, and it's just that constant cycle of getting told, delegated, dictated to, spoken to, criticized, having to perform at a level, stay at a level, stay at a standard, keep the standard for so long, keep that bar high for so long that when you hit when you it's the realization of retiring that sort of gets a lot of players' attentions. And
Mm.
I don't know if fans understand it that much. They probably just think, well, like it's just like work. You know, you should be blessed. Why are you complaining about something like that? You should be blessed. You should be honored that you got to do all that. Well, yeah, I am. But it doesn't change the fact that when you come off that pedestal, when you come off that stage for being there for so long,
Mm.
you still reality still sets in, and you know you miss the camaraderie, you miss the benefits of being in quotations babied.
Mm.
You know,
Well,
uh,
I think I hear that from a lot of breathers too, brothers. They're
yeah,
just the regiment, like being
yeah,
regimented, being told where to be, especially people like brothers like a most are just from young bucks all the way up to if you're lucky enough to retire, after a long
yeah,
career, like
yeah,
a lot of them do get a bit lost. So
yeah, yeah.
understandable, Kazi.
It's yeah, it's a big reality. It's a big reality. It's a good lesson to learn, and that's why it's good to have something to fall back on.
Mm.
Yeah, because obviously rugby league is just a little window that you get to just be blessed to do, and see everything, see the wonders of the world, playing in Las Vegas. Who'd ever thought that? Like that's a once in a lifetime type of thing, getting to play in Las Vegas. But just seeing these things, and when the penny drops and you stop playing, and then you go, oh wow, like that's not gonna be, that's it now. And that's the biggest lesson for any rugby league player, and all the boys will know that. And it doesn't matter if you've played 10 games, doesn't matter if you played 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300 more. Like, it all just still hits the same. Like, oh wow, like
it's over.
Yeah, but bro, I've got no regrets in it, man. I all I ever wished was to play one.
This guy.
All I ever wished was to play one, man, and to play the amount that I played, to play for X amount of representative teams in between all that, like
through a lot of injury too, brother. A lot of ups and downs to get there too,
Yeah, and I'm very thankful for it. I'm very grateful for what rugby league has done. There's been a lot of ups and downs in between that, but I've made a lot of relationships along the way, and still to this day I still stay in touch with all of them.
Yeah. Beautiful, my brother. Hey, before we do get out of here, I just want to I just got a couple of questions for you. If you could eat only one meal for the rest of your life, what do you choose?
I love my food, man.
So David and Andrew knock on your door, brother, and you can only have that one meal. What one meal are you going for?
For the rest of my life.
Rest of your days, my brother. Rest of your days.
Well, it's got to be something that is filling, but then it's got to be something that doesn't pack the weight on. You got to think about this. It's got to be something that's filling. It's got to be something that doesn't pack the weight on, and it's got to be something that you're not going to get tired of every time. I would go for cornflakes with banana, with banana and Milo.
There you go. This is interesting. I like this.
If I could have a meal, bro, and that was like, when we were doing it hard, sometimes, and some people will know when I mean this. When there's like hard times in the family household, and you go to like you pick those meals where it's like, oh yeah, we're sort of struggling here on the money side, bro. This was like one of the staples where, like, all right, we're having cornflakes tonight with milk and Milo and bananas. Like, yo, sweet, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't that, it was just eggs and rice or tuna and rice, bro. I was even more happy with that. But it was like, that was like one of the big things, man, because it was like, I just remember us sitting in a circle, me and my family just like eating cornflakes, banana, everyone sharing this massive tin of Milo, just like eating amongst each other.
Okay, brother.
I could eat that. I'll eat that for the rest of my days, and I'd be happy with that.
I like it. So can you just say it once more, just for the people in case they
missed it? Cornflakes with banana and Milo.
And Milo, milk on there too, or nah?
Yeah, bro. No,
yeah,
it's not gonna be eaten dry.
I was like, what the? I don't know, brother. You never know these days, cuz what people how they want to eat it. I thought you were gonna have some sawdust. So, if you could insert yourself into any pack of all time, any all-time pack from an NRL club, what pack, what team, like 04 Bulldogs, where are you going? Where are you going to put Leilani Latu into what pack?
Ooh. I would insert myself in. Nah, that 04 Bulldogs pack was like they had combination of like speed, power, aggression, everything was there.
Everything.
Everything was there. Price, O'Mealy, Adam Perry, a hooker, Sonny Bill, Rennie,
Rennie,
and Andrew Ryan. And you
Bobcat,
had Andrew
yeah.
Ryan, and then you had Asatasi. Damn.
Who was lock? Was Tony Grimaldi the lock?
Yeah, he played. Yeah, he played there a few times. So you had Asatasi, Grimaldi.
Oh, Willie.
Oh no, Travis Norton. Travis Norton was lock.
Travis Norton. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you had, and
Because
then
Sonny came off the bench too, eh?
Yeah, Sonny.
17.
Yeah, so like you had, and that's what I mean. You had, well, so that grand final, you had Corey Hughes, Jonathan Thurston, Sonny Bill, and Roy Asatasi. Bro, the gunnest bench ever.
Off the bench.
What?
Off the bench.
What? Thurston, Sonny Bill, Corey Hughes, Asatasi.
Oh, was it Rennie Maitua? Where was Rennie? Was Rennie off the bench too?
No, I think Rennie started.
In the back.
I'm pretty sure Rennie
Or was
started.
he lock? I can't remember.
Nah, Rennie.
But I just know they were again.
I think Rennie played in the back row. He played in the back row, and because you had Matt Utai, Willie Tonga.
Oh, Matt Utai has them.
Yeah, Matt Utai, Willie
Luke Patton.
Tonga. Yeah, Luke Patton, Matt Utai, Willie Tonga.
Was Willie Talau as well?
No,
who was the other centre? Who was that other centre?
Vangana, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, Nigel. Oh, my bad. Up the was. Yeah,
he
my
didn't
bad.
play. He didn't play in that grand final. It was Ben. It was, I think it was Ben Harris or Ben Harrison.
Ben Harris. Oh, Ben Harris. Yeah,
he was
because Elijah. Yeah, well, he's a pilot now. Elijah was saying that he's the one that motivated him to go and become a pilot. Elijah Taylor was saying.
Yeah.
Ben Harris.
So he was
right.
he was there he was on that other side with Hazem, and then you had
how good was Hazem, man?
Yeah, then you had Brent Sherwin and Brayford Astor. So like they had class along that whole team. If I had to pick a team, I would pick the year that the Warriors versus the Roosters, that forward pack. Where you had
02. You going 02? Jerry Seal, Mark
Villanti, EC for Paliacina, everyone. Yeah,
Jerry Seal, Mark Tukey.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah, Chuck Leilani Latu win. I reckon we win. Hey,
I reckon I get some stick. I get some stick off.
Or maybe put you. Yeah, but maybe put you in for Richard, because Richard, when he headbutted Fittler, that stirred the Roosters up and made them fire up. You know, and you wouldn't have headbutted Freddie because you know he's going to be your coach later and make you do yoga.
Oh, goodness.
Wait, all right, last one, Togo. If you could play any sport besides rugby, union or league, which sport would you play? Or or box or whatever. What other sport would you participate in? Maybe you'll be a gamer. I don't know.
No,
esports.
No. If I could play any game, if I could play any sport, well, I would. Well, what's a sport that pays a lot of money and does
golf?
It does little stuff.
Golf. Now you do a lot in golf. There's a lot of, like, it's not a lot like compared to preseason, but you play for days and a lot of swinging. Oh, yeah. They could get misconstrued, that word.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I would definitely.
I don't know, Docs. I don't know what's something you could do that pays heaps the most, but you do the least.
You know what? For fun, if I couldn't play rugby league, bro, I'd probably play do dodgeball or European handball, man.
Oh, let's go.
Yo, That's for
Dodgeball, bro.
fun.
They're gonna hit your big ass, cuzzy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's either they hit me or I hit
and
them
you'll
first.
smoke them too.
Well, I'd be like too slow. I'd be too slow trying to run and get the ball from the halfway line.
But like if
if
they
I
miss you
got a
though,
ball,
cuz
if they
if they
miss
miss
me
you,
and I've got the ball, then yeah, I'm.
let's go.
But if I had to pay for money, I loved playing basketball.
Yeah.
My
Who?
both of my sisters played basketball. Actually, my sister just retired now from playing pro in Europe. So she
Oh,
played.
true.
She's played.
Whereabouts?
Yeah, she played in Malta.
You're the Malta.
But like she's played around the world. Played in Australia. She's played in Italy. Played in Greece. Played in Spain,
Oh,
Finland.
right.
But she's
People
played
know
all over
this.
the world.
Shout out to
So,
Leilani's sister.
yo,
What's her name? Latu. Something Latu, eh? Or
Samantha. Her name's Samantha. But
Samantha Latu.
yeah. But bro, she. But that's what I mean. Like I had my brother to help me with rugby, but to maintain, to be professional, to have that mindset of an athlete, like my older sister helped me with that. But yeah, if I could play any other sport, I'd probably do basketball.
Yeah. Do you have an NBA team or favorite player growing up or anything like that?
Oh, bro, my favorite team growing up was Chicago.
Oh,
All for the
yeah.
simple fact of MJ. But other than him, man, I I used to listen. I used to love watching Shaq when he was at Orlando.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
like,
Pim and Penny.
yeah, bro, and only because right, this was when like Shaq thought he'd be a rapper. And bro, I used to like listen to him rap. I didn't mind him. I didn't mind it.
Well, didn't
So,
he go platinum though? You're giving platinum,
yeah,
eh? He's
bro,
a platinum.
he's got a few. He's got a few singles out.
Bro,
So
you know who I reckon has the best bars there? I reckon Damian Lillard has the best
yo,
bars of all the basketballers that I've heard.
yeah, man.
Bro,
Yeah. Yeah, he's
fucking
not too
Damian Lillard.
bad. He's not too bad. Spitting rhymes.
Barsy, bars, man. Like my favorite player was Allen Iverson, brother. The answer all day, but like his raps weren't too good.
But
Like he was a weapon
you
anyway.
know whose raps are good. The brother that you've been posting about that. ET,
Elijah,
old
you know
ET
you too.
man.
Bro,
Yo,
weapon, eh?
he's a
Boy,
weapon,
music.
man.
Weapon,
Bro.
but oh, you know what too? I don't mind some of the stuff he spits about too. This guy is like spitting a lot of truth there too. I like it.
Yo,
Yeah,
and
that
bro, he
was
was like that. He was, bro. And that's
at
like
the Memphis.
that's the awesome thing, man. He was exactly like that at Penrith with our time together. Even when he was over here playing with Salford, like when I caught up with him, still the same. And that's what like the best thing is that like when you see boys that you used to roll with, you used to play with, even if you never got to play with but played against, but you knew them, they never changed. They always see each other, and it's just like, oh yeah, it's just been a day.
Yeah, the boys.
Yeah.
Hey, Togo, thank you, my brother. Time's the most valuable commodity we have as human beings, my brother. So thank you for sharing your time with us. And shout out to everybody, brother. Everybody that you shouted out to. Shout out to all of them, my brother. But I think a big thing is to shout out to your mother for raising you views through all that homelessness. Shout out to Mumsy for steering you on the right path. Your wife and even your dad, brother. Even though he wasn't always there, he obviously loved your kids, man, as well. Yeah, big love, brother, and shout out to you for. At the end of the day, like they say, don't judge me until you walk a mile in my shoes. I think no matter if you walk a mile in my shoes, it's still not me wearing them. So that's your journey, my brother. Thank you for sharing your journey, and I hope this isn't the last time we sit down, because even if in the flesh, maybe whether I'm in the UK or something, let's catch up. But I plan on doing this for a long time, my man. So
yeah, man. But if you're in Perth, then like I've been to Perth a few times.
Come,
I've got a couple of mates around there. But yeah, man, if ever we get to go to Perth, reach out, bro.
100%. Big love, my dog.
All right, bro. Thanks, man. Thanks heaps for this.
Thank you so much for watching this full episode of Mind the Mic. It takes a lot of time, energy, and effort to create these episodes. So to know that you've watched and listened to the entire thing means the world to myself and all our hosts. If you could, before you leave, please hit the subscribe button and share this episode out to as many people as possible. It would help us so much. Thank you again to everybody that's still here, still watching. Thank you for all your comments, all your shares, all the DMs. Appreciate you all. Make sure you follow us on every platform. Have an awesome morning. Have an awesome night, depending on where you are in the world. Mind the mic out.
Oi, have you hit the link in bio yet?
Watch full episodes on YouTube or listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all streaming platforms.
Do it.